Chapter 588. Crazy Wife. The fifth miss of the Divine Doctor. Mo Shah carried a tray in, and on it was a light blue porcelain bowl. "I made something for you." Mo Shah placed the tray on the table, carried the bowl to the bedside, and helped her up with one hand. Sima Yue looked at the light blue soup in the bowl and asked weakly, "What is this?" "Something good for you," Mo Shah said as he put the bowl to her lips. Sima Yue drank the bowl of blue soup in his hand, and after drinking it, there was still a faint fragrance in her mouth. Her dizziness seemed to have improved by quite a bit. "What is this?" She felt a lot more clear-headed and asked again. "A concocted medicine," Mo Shah said. "You should rest first." After speaking, he took the bowl and left. On the second day, Mo Shah gave her another bowl of red medicine. On the third day, he gave her another bowl of light green medicine, and on the fourth day, it was more normal. It was a bowl of medicine that was like plain water. Sima Yue drank it every time without hesitation. After drinking the fourth bowl, she felt that her body's perception of space was different, as if she was more integrated with space. Taking advantage of this feeling, she closed her eyes and began to comprehend space. Unexpectedly, she made quite a bit of progress. It was as if she was in a spacious room before, and now she had stepped out of that door and arrived at a vast wilderness. After her comprehension of space increased, she found that the space she could control had increased. In the past, it was only a cubic meter, but now it was half the size of a house. Seeing the space she could control, she was shocked. How did it suddenly become so big? She guessed that it was related to the medicine Mo Shah gave her, and wondered if she could get her hands on it. Later on, she found out that this medicine not only increased her comprehension of space, it also cured her sickness of being dizzy from teleportation arrays. After that, when she used teleportation arrays, she never felt dizzy again. She had just woken up from her comprehension when Mo Shah knocked on the door. The timing was just right. She opened the door and saw Mo Shah standing outside. Without waiting for her to speak, he said, "Let's go out for a while." "Where to?" "To help them." Before she could react, Mo Shah had already turned around and left. She could only close the door and chase after him. Mo Shah brought her for 2 days and arrived in front of a cave. There were a few corpses of the demon clan at the entrance of the cave. From their figures, it was obvious that they were from the Red Jade clan and the Zhu clan. Mo Shah walked in front, while Sima Yue held Little Dream's hand and walked behind him. The three of them entered the cave, and before they reached the end, they heard rustling sounds coming from inside. "Who?" A shout came from inside as Hua Xiao and the others ran out. Seeing that it was them, Hua Xiao asked in surprise, "Why are you here? Since you guys haven't been back for so long, we came to see if there's anything we can help with." "What's the situation now?" Sima Yue asked. "The people from the Red Jade clan have been taken care of by us. We've also given them the pills, but now we've run into trouble." Hua Xiao said. "What trouble?" "Come in and take a look and you'll know." Hua Xiao turned around and went in after he finished speaking. It was only after Sima Yue entered that she understood what kind of problem they were facing. It turned out that the Red Jade clan had found a huge cage from who knows where and locked all the Black Jade clansmen inside. Now that the cage couldn't be opened, they had no way of getting them out. Seeing Sima Yue and Mo Shah enter, there were still some doubts in their eyes. Hua Jing said, "This is made from 100,000-year-old black iron. Without a key, we can't open it. We've already tried many methods." Sima Yue glanced at Mo Shah. Could it be that this guy knew from the start that they couldn't open the cage and let her open the lock? Ba Jiazi was at the side instructing those people to use their spirit energy to attack, but everyone's spirit energy was exhausted and there was nothing they could do. She was about to cry as she watched from the side. Sima Yue walked over. When Ba Jiazi saw her, she forced a smile. "Why are you here?" "Let me try." Sima Yue looked at the 1-foot-tall lock. There were burn marks, spirit energy marks, and even some prying marks on it. "Okay." Ba Jiazi didn't have much hope for Sima Yue, but since she said it, perhaps there really was a way. Sima Yue went over to look at the lock and used her own flame to test it. After 2 minutes, the lock still didn't budge. The people outside the cage saw a stranger and thought that there was hope. They didn't expect the result to be the same. Yue, normal flames are useless against this. Ba Jiazi said. That's true. Sima Yue kept her own flame and immediately changed it to Qi Yan's. When the flame came out, the temperature in the entire cave suddenly rose. Everyone was terrified of this flame. Yue, what kind of flame is this? Ba Jiazi subconsciously took a step back and looked at the flame in her hand in horror. It's my contracted beasts, Sima Yue said. She threw the flame over, but the flame only managed to wrap around the top of the lock. She looked at the slowly shrinking lock and lamented that it was too slow. If she had a little more flame, the speed would be much faster. However, her flame was the bane of the dark race. She only used a little bit, and everyone in the cave was already trembling in fear. If she used a little more, these people wouldn't be able to handle it. Fortunately, she didn't need to refine the entire lock. She only needed to burn the chain on the lock. It really worked. The people from the Black Jade clan saw that the lock was slowly shrinking and their eyes were filled with hope. Huaxiu looked at her flame and couldn't help but shiver. If she had used this flame to burn him when he caught her, he would have been burned to ashes. Time slowly passed. After more than an hour, the chain was burned. Sima Yue put away the flame, and the temperature in the room returned to normal. All right, everyone come out quickly. Little black rabbits came out of the cages. The poison in their bodies had been cured, and they were now full of energy. Princess, the Red Jade clan actually dared to betray us and collude with the Ji clan. We must eliminate them all. A Black Jade clan elder said. Yes, Princess, we must find the Red Jade clan for revenge. Everyone, please calm down. The Red Jade clan betrayed the Devil Rabbit clan. We will definitely not let them go. However, we have more important things to do now. Ba Jiazi comforted them. Grandfather and the others were captured by the Ji clan and are now imprisoned in Blood Level City. Not only that, they also captured the Chinese clan leader and maybe the other clan leaders. Our top priority now is to find a way to save Grandfather and the others. As for the Red Jade clan, we must make them pay the price for this matter. Chapter 589. After that, Sima Yu became a bystander again. She followed behind the Black Jade clansmen and watched as they took control of the Red Jade clansmen on their territory. They saved the remaining people and discussed how to rescue the captured clan leader. Then, everyone went to the vicinity of Blood Level City. Immerse said he wanted to go with her because they didn't have much time left in the Devil Realm. Thus, she put on a heroic expression and stepped onto the transportation array. But when she was teleported away, she realized something was different. She was no longer dizzy. When she arrived at her destination, she was still in a daze. Was she really not sick of teleportation arrays anymore? Why did it feel so unreal? Everyone had left, but she was still standing there in a daze. Immerse sighed in his heart and reached out to tap her forehead, saying, "Let's go." Sima Yue reached out to cover the place where she was hit. Seeing the teasing look in his eyes, she thought of the few bowls of medicine he gave her and said, "Is it because of the thing you gave me?" So stupid. Immerse glanced at him, then turned and left. What an idiot, only realizing it now. He despised her inwardly. However, he couldn't help but smile when he saw the joy on her face because she didn't get sick. Sima Yu pursed her lips at his back, then followed him with large strides. It was great that he didn't feel dizzy using the teleportation array anymore. When she got back, she wanted to get that method and give it to Feng to use so that he wouldn't get dizzy in the teleportation array. The people of the Black Jade clan took them to the mountain range near Lu Shui City. From the mountain peaks here, they could see Lu Shui City. While Immerse was discussing with Hua Jing and the others how to rescue those who had been captured, she stood at the side in a daze. She really couldn't understand what they were talking about in such a short time. Unlike Immerse, who was able to analyze the current situation very well after listening to Hua Jing and the others. She looked up at the gray sky, as if there was no blue sky and white clouds here. She couldn't see the sun all day, and she didn't know how the green plants grew. She was bored out of her wits. Seeing that they were still in the middle of their discussion and that a few more strangers had arrived, she quietly left the mountain. Emo Shah sensed her departure and glanced in her direction before continuing his discussion with them. Unknowingly, she had left the mountain far behind. "Katja!" A crisp voice rang out. She looked around, but didn't see anyone. "Katja! Katja!" A few sounds were heard, but there was no movement at all. She called Xiao Ming out, and the two of them followed the direction of the voice. "Katja!" As if sensing that someone was approaching, the voice disappeared. That sound just now sounded like the sound of eating. Little Dream said, "I think so too, but there's no one here." They looked around, but didn't find anything out of the ordinary. Leaning against a huge flower, they sat down. "Yu, this place is strangely quiet," Little Dream said. "It's as if there's no life nearby. It is indeed a little strange." Sima Yue closed her eyes and sensed her surroundings. She did not find anything out of the ordinary. There were only trees and flowers around her. Moreover, there were large patches of flowers. It seemed that there were no other plants around except for these flowers. Since they didn't find anything, the two of them chatted casually under the flowers. When they weren't paying attention, a flower bud slowly rose not far away and approached the two of them. When it got close to them, it suddenly bloomed, revealing rows of sharp teeth in the stamen. Then it fiercely pounced on the two of them, wanting to suck them into its mouth. Bang! Little Dream used her spiritual energy to open the flower. The two of them left the flower they were leaning against and came to an open space, looking at the dancing flowers in the air. There must be a demon when things are out of the ordinary. This place is so quiet. There must be a demon. Sima Yue sneered. "I didn't expect to meet a man-eating flower here. You didn't fall for it at all. The flower didn't even have a mouth." They didn't know where the voice came from. Sima Yue smiled. "You purposely made a sound to lure us here. Then you wanted to eat us when we let our guard down. Unfortunately, it's too quiet here. There's no movement at all. How would we dare to let our guard down?" "Oomph. Even if you didn't fall for it, the result would still be the same. It's just that it's a little more troublesome for me." After the man-eating flower finished speaking, the surrounding flowers moved. The flower branches extended endlessly and attacked them. Little Dream took care of one flower with a punch. Every flower was shattered by her. "Humph, a small man-eating flower dares to talk nonsense." Little Dream stopped in the air and sneered. Sima Yue was not used to Little Dream's domineering words, especially when the flower was taller than her. She didn't seem to have any power at all. However, the man-eating flower understood how powerful she was. "I didn't expect there to be such a young demon king. If normal man-eating flowers are useless against you, it doesn't mean that I'm afraid of you," the man-eating flower said fearlessly. All the surrounding flowers moved. It just so happened that there was only one man-eating flower in the valley. It's actually the man-eating flower king. This time, even Little Dream's expression changed. The man-eating flower king and the man-eating flower seemed to have the same strength. However, the man-eating flower king had endless life. It could quickly grow branches and bloom new flowers. As long as its main parts and roots were not destroyed, it was equivalent to an immortal life form. Moreover, each of its flowers had strength. It wasn't like normal man-eating flowers. Only a few flowers had attack power. Although Little Dream was strong, she couldn't withstand the hundreds and thousands of flowers. "Little Dream, come down!" Sima Yue shouted when she saw the man-eating flower attacking Little Dream. Little Dream wanted to come down, but she was blocked by the man-eating flowers coming from all directions. She couldn't move at all. "Ha! So what if you're the Demon King? You'll still be eaten by me." The man-eating flower king laughed and opened its mouth to swallow her. Poochie, a bunch of flames burned the flower that was holding Little Dream. Then, the flames followed the flower branches and burned the other flowers as well. Little Dream took the chance to fly to Sima Yue's side. Ah! The man-eating flower king's flower branches danced in the air after being ignited. It was close to the other flowers and ignited the others. "Normal flames are useless against me. What kind of flame is this?" The man-eating flower king screamed. Its voice was filled with deep fear. Naturally, it's a flame that can burn you to ashes. Sima Yue said. Hearing that it would be burned to ashes, the man-eating flower king was afraid, because she knew that this flame could definitely do it. I was wrong. Please spare me. The man-eating flower king begged. Spare you? Didn't you say that you were going to eat us? I was wrong. It hurts. Please spare me. Spare you? Sima Yue smiled. I will only forgive my own people. As for my enemies, I will only eliminate them. Chapter 590. The man-eating flower king had lived for a long time and naturally understood what Sima Yue meant. However, it was unwilling to do so. It's impossible for me to recognize you as my master. Sima Yue was not in a hurry. She controlled the flame to burn slowly and said, Freedom or life? Which one is more important? Freedom or life? Which was more important? The man-eating flower king was also asking itself if it could give up its freedom for life. No, I won't give up my freedom and faith to become someone else's contract beast. The man-eating flower king shouted loudly. It was unknown whether these words were meant for her or for herself. I believe that you are a very unyielding man-eating flower king. Sima Yue said, but it doesn't matter to me whether you're here or not, so I will respect your choice. After saying that, the flames sped up a little. Soon, half of the flowers on the hillside were burned away by her. You have so many beasts and Brother Qi Yan's powerful flames. This kind of man-eating flower is useless. You can go and burn its main root. Let's go back and eat. Little Dream said, Okay. Sima Yue patted Little Dream's head and replied. The man-eating flower king couldn't believe it. She had such a powerful flame. So how powerful was she? Maybe she really didn't care about it and didn't care about its life. She even said that she was going home for dinner. What were they trying to do? I'll go find its main root. Little Dream said, Go. We've been out for so long, they must be worried about us. It's better to go back early. Yes, I'm going. As the two of them spoke, they did not put the man-eating flower king in their eyes at all. They did not notice that the man-eating flower king's body was trembling. Especially when it saw Xiao Meng walking toward its main root, it cried out in fear, No, I don't want my freedom anymore. I'm willing to recognize you as my master. Really? Xiao Meng stopped and asked doubtfully, Didn't you just say that you wouldn't give up your freedom for life? I changed my mind, okay? The man-eating flower king said awkwardly, stop burning. Are you really willing to acknowledge me as your master? Sima Yue asked. Yes, I'm willing. Stop it hurts. The man-eating flower king cried out. Sima Yue snickered in her heart. With a wave of her hand, she kept the flames that covered the entire mountain. At this moment, the man-eating flower king only had a small portion of flowers left. How do we contract it? I don't know either. Sima Yue said, Why don't we go back and ask Immerse? He knows. Yue. Sima Yue waved at the man-eating flower king, saying, Come back with me. The man-eating flower king hesitated for a moment. Seeing the flames still lingering on her hand, it obediently turned into a blood-red flower. Go. Yayu. Seeing them leave safely, the two people in the air sighed in relief and went back. When Sima Yue went back, those people had already left. Only Immerse, the Huajing brothers, and Ba Jiazi were left. Yue, where did you go? You didn't come back for so long. We were going to look for you. Ba Jiazi looked at the flower in Sima Yue's hand and said, What a beautiful flower. I want to walk around nearby. Sima Yue saw that she was really worried about her and said apologetically, It's good that you're okay. Ba Jiazi said, We were just talking about looking for you. Your senior brother said you were fine. He knows you better. Sima Yue nodded at her and walked to Immerse's side. She handed the man-eating flower king to him and said, I caught a naughty little flower. I want to contract it. How do I contract it? Immerse looked at the flower in her hand and took it, saying, It really is a little flower. However, it can grow into a man-eating flower king. It's quite rare. I'll tame it for you in a bit. Okay. Sima Yue smiled and replied. If he said it was rare, then this man-eating flower king was indeed rare. Man-eating flower king? The man-eating flower king from the 2 valleys in front? Hua Xiu exclaimed. That's right. Sima Yue said. I just happened to meet it. It saw that I was pretty and said it wanted to follow me. The man-eating flower king in Mo Sha's hand trembled violently. It was screaming in its heart. Shameless. Shameless. You're the one who threatened me. Mo Sha seemed to have heard its thoughts. He lowered his eyes and glanced at it, then elegantly ignored it. The Hua Jing brothers were speechless as the corners of her mouth twitched. That man-eating flower king had been there for a long time. They had never heard of it not eating anyone because of their good looks. Looking at the man-eating flower king's obedient appearance, it must have been taught a lesson by her. However, she was also very capable. Many people had designs on it, but if they didn't leave with heavy injuries, they were eaten by it. They didn't think that she would be able to tame it. How's your discussion going? Sima Yue finally turned around and asked them. It's almost done. If we follow our plan, we'll definitely be able to save Clan Head and the others. Hua Jing said, looking at Mo Sha with admiration. When they were discussing the plan, he only listened to them talk about the situation and reacted quickly. His plan could be said to be perfect. It was much better than what they, who understood the situation here, could come up with. Sima Yue wasn't there at the time, so she didn't see how everyone was deeply impressed by him. Then there's nothing for you to do? Then hurry up and tame the man-eating flower king for me. Sima Yue looked at Mo Sha eagerly. Although Mo Sha liked it when she acted spoiled with him in private, it was too embarrassing to do this in public. He closed his eyes and grabbed the man-eating flower king's roots. After a while, he opened his eyes and threw the flower to her. It's done. Sima Yue caught the man-eating flower king. Looking at its blooming flower, she asked, It's done? So fast. Plant-type beasts have lower spiritual power, not to mention a flower king that just became a king. Mo Sha said casually. Sima Yue could tell that he didn't think much of the man-eating flower king. She also expressed her doubts about her taste. However, thinking about how high his standards were, she didn't want to lower herself to his level. Thus, she held the man-eating flower king and ran to the side to contract it. Because it was the man-eating flower king and Mo Sha used the imperial beast art to tame it, Sima Yue's dark spiritual power increased quite a bit when she contracted it. Master, because of the contract, the man-eating flower king's injuries had recovered. Knowing that she was actually from the human world, it was so angry that it wanted to vomit blood, but it didn't dare to do anything to her. Since you like flowers so much, then you'll be called Hua Hua. Before Sima Yue could speak, Little Ming put her hands on her hips and decided on the name of the man-eating flower king. Chapter 591. Hua. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Seeing little dreams, you should be called flowy expression. She knew that she was unhappy that the man-eating flower king almost ate them. The man-eating flower king was angered to death. It was so mighty. How could it have such an ugly name? But before she could say anything, Xiao Meng spoke again. You don't want to be called Hua Hua? Should I call him the king of Hua Hua? Hua Hua. Flower king flower? Little Dream grabbed its slender roots and said, Tell me, which of these names do you want to choose? If you don't choose, I'll get Big Brother Crimson Flame to deal with you. Through the contract, the man-eating flower king naturally knew what kind of existence Qi Yin was. When it heard Little Dream mention Qi Yin, the man-eating flower king finally compromised. Then let's just call her Hua Hua. Hua Hua King, Hua Hua Wang, and so on were too unpleasant to hear. It's settled then. Hua Hua, you're a member of our family from now on. Don't worry, Big Sister will protect you. Little Dream said with a smile. Sima Yue held her forehead. Why did she have a feeling that Xiao Meng had been led astray? Little Meng, don't learn bad things from Little Roar. Xiao Meng picked the Hua Hua flowers and inserted them into Sima Yue's hair. They looked quite compatible. Yu, I haven't been led astray. Xiao Meng grabbed her hand and acted coquettishly. It's Yu Guang and the others who told me. They want me to learn Little Roar's shamelessness and scoundrel, learn Thousand Resonance's cunning, learn Choming's steadiness, learn Little Rock and Crimson Flame's dominance. I'm seriously learning all of them. Sima Yue face-bombed. Spending all her time with Little Roar and the others, she was already greatly influenced by them. Now that she had to put her heart into learning, she really did not know what would become of the innocent little Meng in the past. Little Dream, don't listen to them. Just be yourself, she said earnestly to Little Dream. Yes, I will be myself. Little Dream nodded seriously. She would definitely be the shameless, cunning, steady, and domineering person she was. Sima Yue looked at her innocent smile. Why did she feel her eyelids twitching? Hua Jing and the others had been paying attention to the situation here. When they heard Little Dream mention the names of Sima Yue's beasts, they were amazed that she had so many contracted beasts. She must be an extraordinary person in the human world. Sima Yue and the others waited on the mountain for a few days. After 3 days, Hua Jing and Ba Jiazi also left with their own people. Only Sima Yue and Mo Sha remained, as well as Little Meng, who was filled with curiosity about the entire mountain range. Little Dream was walking in the mountains with a flower in her hand. The magical beasts they encountered did not dare to provoke her when they saw them. What a joke! Who did not recognize the ferocious little flower in her hand? Only the blind Emotion would do such a stupid thing. Serves him right for almost being eaten. They did not know which good person had taken care of this scourge. They were so grateful that they shed tears. With Hua, Sima Yue casually went out to play with Hua. She stayed in her tent and fiddled with the magical herbs she had obtained here. You, come out and take a look. Little Dream's voice came from outside. Hearing her call, Sima Yue put down the things in her hands and left the tent. When she went out to take a look, she immediately lost her calm. She pulled Little Dream over and took a deep breath. Why did you bring so many magical beasts back? Little Dream giggled. They said they wanted to follow you. Where did you kidnap them? Who taught you to kidnap them? I already told you not to learn from Little Roar. Sima Yue rubbed her temples. She felt a headache coming on. I didn't learn from Little Roar. Back then, he only kidnapped Yu Guang and Little Pump. I've kidnapped a group of beasts, much more than him. I've surpassed my master. Little Dream quibbled. You even learned Thousand Resonance's sophistry. Sima Yue reached out and poked Little Dream's head. Although Thousand Resonance is cunning, he usually doesn't show it. I'm different from him, Little Dream said with a smile. All right. Let them go back quickly. Sima Yue waved her hand. Seeing those ugly magical beasts, she panicked. You don't like them? All right then. Little Dream turned around and said to those magical beasts with her hands on her hips. My Yu said that she can't take you in. You can all go back. That domineering look really gave off the feeling of a little tyrant in the mountains. Sima Yu saw the way Little Dream was behaving. She had imitated Little Rock so well. She suddenly wondered if she had discovered it too late. Little Dream's look was already a sign that she had taken shape. Thinking of the little girl who would feel timid after eating too much, she wailed in her heart. You guys, give me back my cute Little Dream. As for those magical beasts in the Spirit Pagoda, they were looking at the sky, eating and sleeping. They ignored her wailing. Yes, this was all they're doing. It had nothing to do with her. Sima Yue couldn't help but roll her eyes. Each and every one of them was so thick-skinned. As for those magical beasts, seeing Little Dream let them leave just like that, they were a little unwilling and stayed where they were. The Hua and Little Dream's hand instantly became angry and roared. If you don't want to leave, then stay and be my dinner. Just nice, I'm hungry. We still have something to do. We'll go back first. Little Dream, come and play when you're free in the future. Yes. We also have something to do. Little Dream will go first. Us too. In less than 2 minutes, all the magical beasts in the valley ran away. It was as if someone was chasing after them. Actually, wasn't there a certain man-eating flower king grinding its teeth here? If they ran too slowly, they might really become its meal. Sima Yue took the Hua from Little Dream's hand and smiled. Well done. If something like this happens again, I'll leave it to you. I told you you wouldn't like it. Little Dream didn't believe me and insisted on bringing them back for you to see. The Hua Hua was already used to its master. Little Dream wants me to take in more people by my side. It'll be safer when I travel on the continent in the future. Sima Yue patted Little Dream's head and said. Little Dream's originally disappointed face immediately bloomed with a smile because of her words. But I say, Hua Hua, are you male or magnetic? You're quite good at calling yourself an old man. Sima Yue flicked a flower and asked curiously. The Hua Hua shook the leaves on the flower and said, I'm not telling you. This is a secret. Forget it if you don't want to say it. Sima Yue said, Anyway, you're called Hua Hua now. You're a male, Hua Hua, and a female is also called Hua Hua. Uft. Ba Jiazi walked over from the side with a smile and said, This plant-type magical beast doesn't have a gender in the beginning. Whether it becomes a man or a woman after transforming is determined by what they want to do later. Chapter 592. Sima Yue looked at the Hua Hua in her hand and said in surprise, So you don't want to tell me, because you're neither a man nor a woman. You're neither a man nor a woman. Hua Hua couldn't be bothered with her master, so she decided to play dead and stop talking to her. Sima Yue did not tease her. She looked up at Duoba Jiazi and said, Why are you back? Have you settled the matter? Yes, they have rescued my grandfather and the patriarch of the Chinese clan. Ba Jiazi said, So other than them, the Gue clan and Zhu clan also captured some clan leaders of other clans. I don't know what they want to do. Where are they? Sima Yue only saw her and no one else, so she asked. They are in Blood Level City. They asked me to bring you back. Ba Jiazi said, Why did you have to come personally? You could have just sent someone to call me. Sima Yue said, I'm here to tell you that I've asked our executive elder. He said that our method is to abandon the light attribute in the body at birth because at that time, they haven't started cultivating yet. In a situation like yours, our method is of no use to you. Sorry, I can't help you. Ba Jiazi said apologetically. Although he knew that the answer would be this, he still felt a little disappointed when he heard it with his own ears. It's all right. I'm not in a hurry right now. Let's see if we can find another way, Sima Yue said. My grandfather said that your senior brother is a very powerful person. Maybe he can find a way. Ba Jiazi said, Your grandfather met my senior apprentice brother? Sima Yue was surprised. This guy was nowhere to be seen, so he went to Lu Shui City. She didn't know what he said to Hua Jing and the others. Did he say that she knew Mo Sha's whereabouts? That he was Mo Sha? Yes, I've already met them. They're currently discussing something and chased us out, so I volunteered to come find you. Ba Jiazi said, Your senior martial brother knew that I came to find you and told me to bring you back to the city. Let's go then. Sima Yue quickly packed up the tents. When they returned to the city, Sima Yue was arranged to stay in a quiet courtyard. In the past 2 days, other than Ba Jiazi, who came to look for her a few times, no one else came. Even Mo Sha didn't come. On this day, Sima Yue was lying on a rocking chair in the courtyard and chatting with Little Dream. She did most of the talking while Little Dream ate at the stone table beside her. Little Meng, where do you think Mo Sha went? Will they sell us here? Sima Yue picked up a grape and tossed it in her mouth as she asked in boredom. I don't think so. Xiao Meng shook her head with certainty. Why? She hasn't seen him since we got here. But if he sells you, it won't do him any good. Xiao Meng said seriously. And you have a contract with him. Why would he leave you here? Sigh. I don't know how long we have to stay in the Devil Realm. Sima Yue sighed. I don't know how they are now, if they miss me. Feng knows that I'm missing, so he'll definitely come here. It's best if nothing happens. Aren't you worried that others will come here? Xiao Meng asked. I'm not worried, because they can't come to the Blood Tunnel. Sima Yue said, but Feng is different. He knows that I'm in the Devil Realm, so he'll definitely think of a way to come here. Brother Feng will be fine. Xiao Meng comforted. Sigh. I'm worried that he'll break my seal and use that power again. Sima Yue sighed again. She was most worried about Shimin Feng's body. Mo Shao walked in from outside the courtyard, followed by 2 people. They were the Black Jade clan and the Chinese clan leader. Senior brother, why are you here? Sima Yue asked. I brought them here to recognize you. Then we'll prepare to leave. Mo Sha said. Hello, Mississippi. Thank you for your help this time. If Miss comes to the Devil Realm in the future, we hope that you'll come and be our guest. The Black Jade clan leader said, if you have any requests in the future, you can come and find us. You'll be our clan's benefactor forever. This is our clan's token. This is the Chinese clan's token. If anyone comes to find you in the future, they'll definitely bring this and this. The Hua clan leader took out a strange token and said. The two clan leaders had given their tokens to her, and she accepted them all without any hesitation. She was afraid that if she refused, they would nag at her for a long time. She kept the two tokens, then looked at Mo Sha and asked earnestly, Senior brother, when are we leaving? Mo Sha waved his hand to the two of them, and the two clan leaders left respectfully. That etiquette actually showed that he was the leader. I asked them to find some things. They should be able to gather them in a few years. Once they've gathered everything, we can cancel the contract. Mo Sha said. Sima Yue was stunned. She didn't know what to feel. Did she want to cancel the contract with him? Or did she want to have no relationship with him? Thinking about how the two of them wouldn't contact each other in the future, she suddenly felt a little irritated, but she didn't know why she had such a strange feeling. There were still a few years, which meant that he would still be by her side for a few more years. I'll make preparations, she said. Let's go back now. Mo Sha formed a seal with both hands and opened a space tunnel in the air. Then, he pulled her in without looking back. When their feet touched the ground again, they were already standing at the place where they first came in. This is the exit of the Devil Realm. Sima Yue saw the faintly discernible barrier in the air. This should be the place where they came in. How do we get out? When they came in, they relied on something that Hua Xiao took out to open this barrier. Now, were they going to use the same method to get out? His method won't work. Mo Sha understood what she was thinking and said, but that can only be used to enter from the outside. It can't be used to go out from here. Then what do we do? How did Hua Xiao and the others get out? She asked. Their method is too complicated. You don't need that. Mo Sha said, you just need to fuse with Little Roar. Little Roar's innate skill can be used here. This barrier can't stop him, right? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. If Little Roar could be used like this, then she could go wherever she wanted in the future. We still need your spiritual energy to support us. Mo Sha said. You have to release all your 5 elemental spiritual energy and your dark attribute spiritual energy. Adding on Little Roar's innate skill, we can easily get out. Sima Yue nodded and released her fusion with 1,000 resonance. Then, she called Little Roar out to fuse with him. She then released all her 5 elemental spiritual energy and dark spiritual energy to support her, allowing Mo Sha to carry her towards the barrier. Chapter 593. Perhaps it was because she was the one controlling the size of the exit this time, so she spent a lot of energy. Therefore, she felt that the time she spent outside was longer than when she went in. She didn't know how much time had passed, but she felt that the spiritual energy in her body was about to dry up. Only then did they come out of the thick barrier. Are you all right? Sima Yue was being carried by Wu Lingyu. Just as she was feeling a little dizzy, an evil spirit greeted her gently from above her head. Senior brother? She called out uncertainly. Not bad. You didn't get it wrong, Wu Lingyu said with a smile. You're out? Where is Mo Sha? She rubbed her brows and got out of his arms. Standing on the ground, her body was a little weak, and she had no choice but to lean on Wu Lingyu. He went back into the devil's snare ring. Wu Lingyu said, You should go back to the spirit pagoda and rest. Sima Yue nodded and led him into the spirit pagoda. She first adjusted her breathing and rested. Then, she withdrew the dark spiritual energy into her dantian. Then, she circulated the 5 elemental spiritual energy throughout her body. The illusion ring worked again. She changed her clothes into the familiar male attire. Wu Lingyu saw that she had changed back into her male disguise and thought of her stunning female disguise from before, saying, "Looks like we have to settle the matters of the Sage Pavilion as soon as possible. This way, you won't have to dress up as a man all the time." Sima Yue tugged at her clothes and said calmly, "It's okay. I'm used to it." "What's there to get used to? Women should act like women," Wu Lingyu said. Sima Yue ignored him and brought him out of the spirit pagoda. Unexpectedly, not long after they left, they heard the sound of fighting. That barrier is so difficult to pass. Why are there still so many people from the devil world coming over? She frowned. The people of the devil realm have always been working hard to enter the human realm, and have been researching this for thousands of years. Naturally, they have found many ways. Wu Lingyu said, "Think about it. When Immerse Shah led his troops to invade the human realm, he also passed through here. In the primordial lands, the northern 6 prefectures are not the only places that have paths to the devil world. Why did he choose this place?" Sima Yue was puzzled. The obstacles here are the least. Although there are similar passageways in other places, the barriers are much more difficult. It's also much more troublesome for those people to come here. Wu Lingyu said, "Since there's an easier passageway, everyone will definitely be more willing to come here. It's not a battle between demons and humans." Sima Yue and the rest went over and saw a group of people fighting from afar. When she saw the two parties clearly, the fire in her heart was ignited. F***, how dare they kill my younger brother? These people must be tired of living. Sima Yue roared angrily. She called out Chong Ming and the others and was about to join the battle. "Don't worry." Wu Lingyu pulled her back. "You'll only cause trouble if you go in this state." Sima Yue glared at him. Could he not mention that she was weak? "CSI." The little snake rubbed against her ear and stuck out its tongue. "You're going?" Sima Yue understood what the little snake meant. She rubbed its head and said, "You can't expose yourself in front of others now. Otherwise, there'd be trouble. Right now, no one could see through its disguise, but once it went into battle, there was a chance that its identity would be discovered. In order to avoid trouble, it was better not to appear in front of others." "Not good. Fengler wants to break the seal." "Hua, go and capture those people." She shouted, took out a flower vine, and threw it forward, throwing Floey to the ground near the battlefield. After forming a contract with Hua, she realized that Hua was not an ordinary man-eating flower king. It could actually cultivate a clone. It could split its main root into 2 parts. As long as one part was left, it could regenerate. Therefore, she planted the part of Hua's main root in her spirit pagoda. This way, even if she died, Hua would not die. After Hua fell to the ground, it quickly grew on the ground. In a short while, it surrounded the entire battlefield. Then, dozens of huge man-eating flowers suddenly rose from the ground, scaring those who were fighting fiercely. "What is this? God, it's a demonic vine." "Man-eating flower. It's a man-eating flower. Why did it suddenly appear here? Be careful, don't be caught by its flowers." Shimin Feng was preparing to break the seal and activate the power that Sima Yue had sealed. Seeing the sudden change, he was stunned. "What's going on?" The people who were with him saw the sudden appearance of the man-eating flowers and quickly gathered around. Under Sima Yue's instructions, the man-eating flower king caught all the people on the other side. The flower petals that were harder than steel sucked them in. No matter how hard they tried, they could not open it. "Should we take advantage of this opportunity to kill those people?" Someone suggested. "Don't move first. The sudden appearance of this man-eating flower is too strange. We don't even know if it's a friend or a foe. What if it turns to attack us when we move? Let's just wait and see." Shimin Feng's words were interrupted by someone walking towards them. After confirming that he did not see wrongly, he quickly flew towards her and hugged her. Sima Yue patted Shimin Feng's shoulder and said, "Aren't I back safe and sound now? Don't worry. You know that I'm worried." Shimin Feng hugged her tightly. "Then why didn't you come back earlier?" "I didn't want to. I can't come back as I wish after going there. Also, I was kidnapped," Sima Yue said. "Then are you hurt?" Shimin Feng let go of her and looked at her carefully. Sima Yue saw that he was frowning and quickly comforted him. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm not hurt. I think you seem to have gained weight. Shimin Feng said. I think I've been worried for nothing these past few months. Sima Yue glared at him. Was this what a good brother should say? Can't we still have fun together? Shimin Feng looked at her angry face and laughed. His heart that had been hanging in the air finally settled down. Master, can I eat them? Hua Hua's voice pulled Shimin Feng's thoughts back. Seeing a huge flower suddenly appear behind him, and inside the flower there was a tooth that was more than a foot long, which made people feel cold from the bottom of their heart. He was startled. Who are these people? Sima Yue asked. They're the people from District 38. Shimin Feng said. District 38? He said so. She should know about District 38. District 38 is the place where you found your master. Shimin Feng explained. So it's them. Sima Yue looked at them and said, We don't need to leave these people alive, right? They are not important people. It doesn't matter if they are alive or not. Shimin Feng said. That's good. Hua Hua, they're your lunch. Chapter 594. In the beginning, they wanted to kill her master, and now they wanted to kill her brother. She couldn't give these people a reason to live. Hua Hua received her order and ate those people. Feeling that it was not enough, it turned its attention to the rest of the people, which gave them a fright. Sigh, I'm not in the demon realm. I don't even have the freedom to eat humans. Hua Hua sighed and put away the flowers. They turned into a thin vine and wrapped around her waist. Sima Yue looked at this self-aware fellow and pulled it out, throwing it into the spirit pagoda. When they saw Sima Yue's straightforward manner, they could not help but twitch their lips. She was still the most domineering one. Feng, is she the relative you're looking for? A man in black walked over and asked. Yes, this is my brother Sima Yue. Shimin Feng said. This is Kong Valley's eldest disciple, Kong Bingyu. The others are also from the Kong Valley. She looks younger than you, but she's actually your brother. Kong Bingyu smiled and said, You're Sima Yue, the person we're looking for this time. Sima Yue looked at Shimin Feng in confusion. The Valley Lord knew that you were captured and brought to the demon world, so he sent people to find a way to rescue you. Shimin Feng explained. Send someone to save me? Sima Yue looked at them strangely. She did not have much interaction with the Kong Valley. Why would they want to save her? Because he knows that at that time you gave him 2 muscle and marrow cleansing pills. Third MO was also willing to help them because of you, so he wants to befriend you. Shimin Feng said. Not only that, the Academy also sent people. The Feng clan had also sent people over. As for the Bird clan, it could be said that all the bird clans in the outer regions had sent people over. Everyone is trying to find a way to enter the Devil Realm to look for you. Sima Yue was touched. She did not expect so many people to come and save her. What about them? How did you get into a fight with the people from Area 38? She asked. Our people are spread out in various regions. Let's try to strike from other places. We've been assigned to this place. On the surface, these people said that they would help us to search together, but in private, they did some small actions. Shimin Feng said, just now, there was only some dispute, and they shouted to kill us. Maybe it's because we're with the Feng clan. Which force is number 38? Sima Yue asked. It's the Feng clan's old enemy, the Qi clan. Shimin Feng said, Everyone is still very worried about you. Now that you're back, go and tell everyone that you're safe. Okay, Sima Yue replied. They returned together. This time, Shimin Feng and others didn't go to the place where number 38 was stationed. Instead, they directly went to the place where the commander-in-chief was stationed. After everyone found a solution, they would gather here to discuss it. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu sat on Shimin Feng's flying beast and flew for half a day before reaching their destination. Just then, the people in charge of the various forces gathered together to discuss matters. When they saw that they were back, they all heaved a sigh of relief. Sima Yue had just gotten off the flying beast and had yet to say a word when something flew out from the side of the tent. Wu Lingyu, who was at the side, quickly pulled her aside, and that thing just happened to brush past the two of them. Pah! That thing fell to the ground and made a crisp sound. Only then did everyone see clearly what that flying thing was. A smelly shoe fell on the ground, all by itself. You two little brats, have you grown up? You actually dared to go to the Devil Realm to play? Do you know that this old man can't take any more to torture? Another shoe flew out from the tent. This time, without Wu Lingyu's reminder, Sima Yue knew to avoid it. Hearing Old Man Devil's voice, Sima Yue was very happy. However, she still felt wronged and said, "Master, I was caught by someone. I didn't go there to play." Old Man Devil walked out of the tent barefoot. He stared at the two of them and walked over to slap each of their heads. "How dare you quibble? You let him catch you just because he caught you? Have you ever thought about how worried we would be if you were caught? Look at me. I'm already so old, and I still had a rush over from the central area. I'm so tired. Don't even think about how much white hair I've lost and how many wrinkles I've gotten." Old Man Devil reached out and pinched Sima Yoyue's face. "Master, it's not like he didn't catch me just because I didn't want him to." Sima Yue looked at Old Man Devil pitifully. "That person's cultivation level is higher than mine." "Oomph, and you brat." Old Man Devil realized that his little disciple's cultivation level was indeed lower. He turned his attention back to Wu Lingyu. "Seeing your junior brother get caught, you didn't even try to save him? Didn't I save him?" Wu Lingyu rolled his eyes as he said, "Oomph, don't think that I don't know what you're thinking." Old Man Devil said, "If you dare to hurt my good disciple, I'll make you soak in medicinal baths every day." "Master, I'm your disciple too, okay? You've already grown up. Yue is still young. You're her senior brother. You should protect her well." Old Man Devil scolded. "Aren't I protecting her well? Her little brother said that she's gained weight. How is this the treatment of someone who's being abused?" Wu Lingyu said, "All right, actually he had been sleeping the whole time. The person who protected her and made her gain weight was Mo Sha. However, this was still his body, wasn't it? They were the same person from the start." Old Man Devil opened his mouth and wanted to say something. Sima Yue hurriedly grabbed his arm and said, "Master, if there's anything, let's settle it later. So many people are watching." Old Man Devil looked at the dazed crowd and snorted twice. He didn't say anything else. "Yue, it's good that you're back. Otherwise, we'll feel guilty for the rest of our lives." Dan Jing was also here. Seeing Sima Yue standing in front of him, the worry in his heart dissipated. Sima Yue looked over and nodded at Dan Jing. Seeing Feng Zhixing looking at her, she walked over and said, "Master, I'm back." Feng Zhixing reached out and patted her head. He smiled and nodded. "It's good that you're back. If anything happened to you, I wouldn't be able to. You've gained a little weight." He pinched her face again. "That little bit of flesh. I didn't expect Yue to be the junior valley master of the divine Devil Valley. When we saw the Devil Valley Lord coming, we thought it was because of the Holy Sun. We didn't expect him to ask about you first. That's when we found out that you have a master. It's good that you're back. Otherwise, your two masters would have turned this place into a low-pressure center." Xiong Anren laughed. "Since Yue and the rest are back, let's inform those outside to prepare to retreat." Feng Lu said, "All right." Old Man Devil walked over and grabbed Sima Yue. When he passed by Wu Lingyu, he said, "You two come in. I have something to ask you." Chapter 595. Sima Yue followed Old Man Devil into his tent and saw him casually setting up a barrier. Then he looked at her and Wu Lingyu and asked, "Were you really captured when you went to the Devil Realm? Or did you go in by yourselves?" "Someone caught me. We beat them at their own game," Sima Yue answered honestly. "Is it because of this brat?" Old Man Devil said. "I guess so," Sima Yue said. She gave a rough account of what had happened after she met Hua Xiao and what had happened in the Devil Realm. After Old Man Devil heard everything, he said with a solemn expression, "It seems that there are still a few years before you can cancel the contract. You have to work hard to increase your strength in these few years. The stronger you are, the stronger your divine sense will be, and the less harm it will cause to you when the contract is canceled." Sima Yue nodded, indicating that she understood. After leaving Old Man Devil's tent, Sima Yue went to Shimin Feng's tent. "Big brother, why are you here?" Shimin Feng was talking to Kong Bingyu. Seeing her come in, both of them stood up. Shimin Feng's face was completely healed, but in order to prevent people from Yin Palace from seeing him, he still wore a mask. However, this couldn't hide the smile on his face. Sima Yue looked at the way the two interacted and guessed that their relationship was not bad. Ever since they met again, she rarely saw Shimin Feng smile. Let me check on your recent situation. What are you guys talking about? You look so happy. She walked over and pulled a chair to sit beside him. She took his hand and examined it. I'm telling Bingyu about some funny things that happened in the Kong Valley recently. Shimin Feng said, Don't worry, I didn't remove the seal. I saw it just now. If senior brother and I hadn't arrived in time, I'm afraid you would have been devoured by the backlash. Sima Yue glared at him. He smiled awkwardly and quietly let her check his body. Seeing Shimin Feng's current appearance, Kong Bingyu was secretly surprised. Everyone knew what kind of person Shimin Feng was normally. He was antisocial, cold, and ignored people. She had also spent a lot of effort to have the current relationship with him. But now he actually discovered such a well-behaved side of him, and he really looked like a younger brother. He then looked at Sima Yu, who was concentrating on examining Shimin Feng. She clearly looked so young, and he heard that she was only in her 20s. Why was it that when the two of them interacted, it was as if they were brothers? Sima Yue checked him for a while to make sure that he was fine before she withdrew her hand. How is it? I told you that I listened to you and didn't do anything that would harm my body. Shimin Feng said, Other than worrying about your safety, I lost a little weight. Stop teasing me to cover up your mistake today, Sima Yue said. If I didn't come in time today, I can't imagine what would have happened to you. When I get back, I will continue to study your situation and remove this hidden danger for you as soon as possible. The next time I see you doing something so dangerous, I will kick you into the 9th Star Ocean. The 9th Star Ocean is so far away, you can't kick me over. Shimin Feng said with a smile. You could try. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. Forget it, I won't try. Shimin Feng said, but I heard from Qin Mo that 3rd Mo went to the 9th Star Ocean recently. I don't know why he went to such a dangerous place. 3rd Mo went to the 9th Star Ocean? What did he go there for? Sima Yue was very surprised when she heard this news. The 9th Star Ocean was a vast ocean that connected the central region and the outer region. It was many times bigger than the Atlantic Ocean in her previous life. Although the 9th Star Ocean was the boundary between two regions, no one dared to cross the ocean to go to the other side. Because of the dangers there, even monarchs didn't dare to casually go there. 3rd Mo actually went to such a dangerous place. This made her faintly worried for him. Don't worry too much. I heard from Qin Mo that 3rd Mo went to look for him before he left. From what he said, 3rd Mo seemed to be very confident about this trip. Shimin Feng comforted. You don't know. Every time that guy said that he was confident, he was less than half confident. When he was confident, he wouldn't say it. Sima Yue said, since he said that to Qin Mo, it means that he isn't confident. No, I have to think of a way to stop him. It's already too late. Shimin Feng said, when you were in the Devil Realm, he had already gone. Why didn't Qin Mo stop him? Sima Yue said. Qin Mo said that he tried to stop him, but 3rd Mo was very insistent. You know 3rd Mo's temper the best. Qin Mo couldn't persuade him and could only send 2 people to go with him. But they were all rejected by him. Shimin Feng said, I think he definitely went there for something that he didn't want others to know. Maybe. Sima Yue sighed. But although that guy's actions are somewhat risky, he's lucky. Every time, he would escape from a disaster. I hope that nothing will happen to him this time. Otherwise, with how big the 9th Star Ocean is, it would be extremely difficult for us to find him. Sima Yue thought of his mysterious identity. She didn't know whether his going there had anything to do with his identity. All right, I've finished examining you. You guys can continue chatting. I'll go see Master. Sima Yue said and pulled open the curtain and went out. When she arrived at Feng Zhixing's tent, he was looking at a painting. Sensing her arrival, he put away the painting. Master. Sima Yue went in and saw Feng Zhixing sitting on the chair. She felt that there was a trace of sadness in his eyes that couldn't be dispersed. Was it because of her mother? She didn't know what kind of person her mother was, to be able to make such a peerless person so deeply in love with her. Yue, you're here. Feng Zhixing smiled and waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and sat beside him, saying, Master, when I was free in the demon world, I made a rubbing of an array book. I want to give it to you. She took out a rubbing and handed it to him. Array book? Did you get it in the demon world? Feng Zhixing took the rubbing and asked without looking at it in a hurry. No, I got it before, but because I was always busy, I didn't have the time to make a copy. Sima Yue said, Actually, I started making copies before I went to the demon world. It's just that I was a little slow and only finished when I was in the demon world. Master, what do you think of this? Feng Zhixing looked at her eager expression and picked up the rubbing and placed it on his forehead. He had seen a lot of array formation books, and many of them were extremely rare. He had originally planned to say that he liked it, even if it was very ordinary. He didn't have much hope, but when he started reading it, he was completely stunned. Chapter 596. His reaction was similar to Third Mo's when he first saw Soul seeking the source. Feng Zhixing raised his head and grabbed Sima Yue's hand. He asked excitedly, Where did you get this formation? It was Sima Yue's first time seeing him so excited. In the past, he had always been indifferent. Even when he was in a desperate situation, he would only smile when he saw the Feng family coming to his rescue. They brought it out from a graveyard. I saw that the array on it was very good, so I wanted to share it with Master. She smiled and said, But because it was given to me by someone else, I can't give the book away. Then can you show me that book? Sima Yue took out the book. It was the book that Wu Lingyu had found for her. Feng Zhixing held the book with both hands. When he saw the biography on the title page, he excitedly muttered to himself, That's right. This is the book. After being missing for so many years, I never thought that I would be lucky enough to see it again. Master knows about this book? Sima Yue asked. The book didn't seem to have a name on it, so how did he know what book it was? This is the 100 Changing Doors, which is also the original array doors. Their sect master created a book, which was then regarded as a rare treasure in the array world. It was said that after his death, the original novel disappeared. Everyone guessed that it must have been buried with him. However, because there was still a rubbing, no one paid much attention to it. However, the second book also disappeared. Only then did everyone remember the original book. However, at that time, the 100 Changing Doors had already moved to the central regions. Furthermore, the previous seniors had already passed away. The location of the founder's grave has always been a mystery. Sima Yue didn't expect so many things to happen in between. She also didn't expect Feng Zhixing to know the origin of this book at a glance. Seeing how he loved it so much that he couldn't bear to part with it, she wanted to give the book to him. But thinking about how Wu Lingyu had been trapped in the array for 2 years because of this book, and even injured his soul, if she gave it away, with his temperament, he would definitely be unhappy. After hesitating for a long time, she still didn't say it. Feng Zhixing looked at the book for a while and compared the content in the rubbings he had just seen with the previous content. He found that Sima Yue was very serious in rubbings. There was almost no deviation at all. Even if she didn't understand the content, she printed it out accurately. He returned the book to her and said, I'll keep the rubbing, but I'll return the book to you. You must take good care of this unique book and don't show it to others easily in the future unless it's someone you really trust. Sima Yue nodded and kept the book. She knew the value of this book in the entire continent. If others knew that this book was in her possession, unless she was willing to give it up, it would bring her endless trouble. Master, I'll head back first. Sima Yue stood up and said, And that's right. Since you're going back, tell the people from the Kong Valley that we'll be waiting for the others to return tomorrow before we return to the main road. Feng Zhixing said, You should take advantage of this time to rest. When people ask you about what happened in the devil world, you'd better think of a good excuse. Yes, I will, Sima Yue said. With so many people coming to look for them, the news of them entering the devil world had probably spread throughout the continent. If they saw her go back, those people couldn't ask Wu Lingyu, but they would definitely ask her. It seemed like she had to find Wu Lingyu to discuss what to say when she went up. Actually, according to M.O. Shah, they didn't really go deep into the devil world. They only made a small fuss at the side. It was like a super bustling town, and they only walked around a small village at the edge of the town. M.O. Shah said that because they didn't go deep, the things she saw were still considered good. If they went deeper, then she definitely wouldn't think that life in the devil world was good. Sima Yue didn't comment on this. She was just a passerby in the devil world. She didn't care about what the real devil world was like. But she didn't think that she would enter the devil world again a few years later and experience so many shocking things. She went to Wu Lingyu's resting place. Wu Lingyu knew her intentions and said, "If people ask you, just say that you don't know anything. You were in a daze. When you woke up, we were already back in the bloody tunnel. Just say that you saved me. Let them ask you about the details." Sima Yue blinked. This was a good excuse. She didn't know what was going on. She didn't even know about entering the devil world. If they wanted to know the details, they had to ask the holy son of the sage pavilion. She wanted to see how many people would ask him and how many people would dare to ask him. After solving this problem, she went back with peace of mind. When the leader of the Egret clan, Bai Qing, brought the elders of the clan back, she remembered the elders that she kept in the Spirit Pagoda. Little Rock had already told them not to tell anyone about the Spirit Pagoda. The elders had seen Crimson Flame inside, the divine bird with the highest status in the bird clan. Even Little Rock could only stand aside. The elders were instantly excited and shocked, repeatedly expressing that they would not speak of this matter. Crimson Flame looked at them and said, "I still believe in myself." He formed a seal with both hands, and a few red lights entered the elders' heads. This thing usually doesn't have any effect in your body, but if you want to tell anyone about the Spirit Pagoda, it will immediately take your life. If you don't believe me, you can try it when you get out, Crimson Flame said. The elders expressed their loyalty again, saying that they wouldn't tell anyone. They even asked to stay here and follow Little Rock and Crimson Flame. Crimson Flame originally wanted to refuse, but he thought that Sima Yue wasn't strong enough. Although she had Ninth Rock and the others, it would be good to have a few more old birds by her side, so he agreed to their request. Thus, when she saw Bai Qing, Sima Yue felt that she had let him down. She felt as if she had dug a corner of his wall. When Bai Qing heard that the elders wanted to represent the Egret clan to stay by Little Rock's side to protect him, he expressed his approval. He kept asking if it was enough, and if there was a need to send 2 more elders. Sima Yue looked at him. If he wasn't the king of the Egret clan, he would have personally stayed. After sending the warm-hearted Bai Qing away with great difficulty, Sima Yue took back the elders and finally had time to rest. The next morning, Shimin Feng came to tell her that everyone was ready to set off. Sima Yue went out and got on a flying beast with everyone, flying towards the ancient primordial lands. After passing through layers of thick fog, she finally returned to the Red Canyon and saw the blue sky that she hadn't seen for a long time. Chapter 597. New Dagger fantasy novels. She had been down there for almost a year, but she had never seen the blue sky or white clouds. Now that she saw the blue sky, she felt a little excited. She sat on an egret, and the egret flew her to the top of the canyon. Before she reached the top, she heard someone calling her name. "Grandfather, Auntie Yu, Auntie Lan, why are you all here?" She got down from the white heron as Sima Lai and the others surrounded her. "We knew that you were taken to the devil world. We were very worried, so we followed Feng here. But because our strength is too low, we can't go down and can only wait for you here." Sima Lai looked at Sima Yue and saw that she was not missing an arm or a leg. Only then did he feel at ease. Although they were holding her life jade and knew that she had nothing to worry about, they were still worried that she would suffer and get hurt down there. Now that they saw that her complexion was good, they could finally stop worrying. "It's good that you're back," Lan said from the side. "If anything happened to you, those children would be heartbroken. Are they all right?" Sima Yue could imagine their reactions when they heard that they were taken to the devil world. "It's all right. At first, They were a little crazy and worried about your safety. But after they found out that you were fine, they calmed down. Sang Mu Yu said, initially, they wanted to come here as well, but the academy did not allow it, so they could only wait for you here. Then let's go back earlier. Sima Yue said. She turned around and looked at Feng Zhixing. Master, you've been out for so long, go back. When I'm done with my business, I'll go to the academy to see you. Feng Zhixing said. All right, if you don't come, I will look for you. Sima Yue said, now I know how to find you. Old Man Devil unhappily pinched Wu Lingyu's clothes and said, Yu Yue is too biased. We're both masters. Why don't I see her reluctant to part with me? Wu Lingyu pulled her clothes back and rolled her eyes at him. Sima Yu also expressed her gratitude to the others who came to save her. Although they didn't do much, their intentions were still worthy of her gratitude. After the others left, Sima Yue came to Old Man Devil's side and took out a spatial ring, saying, Master, I know you're thinking about them. Old Man Devil looked at the things inside the ring, and the melancholy on his face disappeared, replaced by a bright smile. He quickly put the things away and patted Yu Yue's shoulder, saying, Good disciple, you know how to be filial to your master. As long as master is happy. Sima Yue smiled. At the same time, she complained in her heart. That stinky look on his face was because he thought that she didn't care about him. That's right. Master, do you know a girl called Feng Ruyan? Old Man Devil's hand trembled as he shouted. Who are you talking about? Feng Ruyan. From the way she spoke, she should know you. Sima Yue said. How do you know her? Old Man Devil said excitedly. Do you know where she is now? I don't know. She already left. Sima Yue said, Master, do you know her? I do. Old Man Devil muttered. I didn't expect to hear news about her. She must be as beautiful as she was back then. Sima Yue saw that he was in a daze and waved her hand in front of him, saying, Master, she can't be the person you like, right? Old Man Devil slapped her hand away, saying, What nonsense are you talking about? I was still a child when I met her. It's been a few hundred years, and you still remember her? Sima Yue teased. How can I not remember? A girl like her is unforgettable. Old Man Devil said, Tell me, how do you know her? Did you see her? Sima Yue told Old Man Devil the news of Feng Ruyan's treatment. Old Man Devil fell silent after hearing it. That means that you don't know where she is now. Looks like I have to ask Jun Song. That guy seems to have gone to the central regions recently. Old Man Devil said, All right, you guys should hurry back to the academy. Remember to send my regards to that old guy. After speaking, he opened a space tunnel and went in. It was only when the space tunnel closed that she remembered that he didn't tell her who Feng Ruyan was. Forget it. I didn't want to know when Ani Feng was here. It's okay if I don't know now. I'll know when the time comes. Sima Yue sighed, then said to Sima Lai and the rest, Let's go back too. They went to a nearby city and used the teleportation array to return to the central region. This time, she didn't get sick from the teleportation array. However, Shimin Feng still couldn't get used to it. When she returned home, Bei Gongtang and the rest happened to be home. When they saw her return, they were all extremely excited. I knew that you would be fine. Fatty Chu came up and wanted to give her a bear hug, but he felt that something was wrong when he hugged her. He raised his head and saw Wu Lingyu looking at him coldly. Fatty, I didn't think that you would be so warm towards me. Fatty Chu looked at Sima Yue, who was standing at the side, and laughing secretly. He knew that Wu Lingyu must have pulled Sima Yue away and came over himself. He let go of him resentfully. Fifth bro, Sima Yuming and the rest walked over and hugged her. It's good that you're back. Sima Yue patted their backs, saying, I've made you guys worry. It's okay for us to worry, as long as you're safe. Sima Yulu said, when we found out that you and your senior brother had been taken to the devil realm, we were all scared out of our wits. We thought that you were doomed. It's a good thing that we remembered your life, Jade, and saw that it was intact, so we knew that you were fine. If not, everyone would have gone crazy. Wu Lingyu didn't think that she would be able to protect Fatty Chu, but not her brothers. Seeing them hug for so long, she really wanted to go up and pull them away. All right, they just came back. Let US sit down and rest for a while. Bei Gongtang said. Yes, 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 look at how excited we are. Sima Yuming said with a smile. Let's go in first. Right? Why are you all at home today? Don't you have classes? Everyone walked towards the living room, and Sima Yue asked when she thought that they were all here. The sect has been organizing a competition recently, so we haven't had classes recently. We're all preparing ourselves. Wei Ziqi said. The competition this time is for those people to prepare for the inner sect in a year's time. They want to see what level they are at. Ouyang Fei explained. The competition will start the day after tomorrow. If you look for the vice principal, you might be able to sign up. Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, I just came back and have a lot of things to do. I won't be participating in the competition, but I will definitely cheer you on when you compete. Chapter 598. Sima Yue went to the school the second day after her return. She went with Wu Lingyu to visit the dean of teaching and the vice principal. The dean asked them about what they had gained this year. Wu Lingyu said a lot, but in her eyes, it was all nonsense. The vice principal didn't say anything, but asked Wu Lingyu to stay alone. Before she left, the vice principal said that Gulang had looked for her several times. She left the vice principal's office and went straight to Gulang's research lab. Gulang was in the middle of a discussion with a student. When he saw her, he was a little surprised, but more than that, he was excited. That's all for today. We'll talk about the rest later. Gulang said to the students. The competition is coming up. You must prepare yourselves. Yes, Mr. Go. The students packed up their things and saw Sima Yue standing outside. Yue, you're back? I heard that your assistant teacher took you out to travel. How have you been this year? Someone greeted her. Not bad. Have you all signed up for the competition? What project did you sign up for? We all signed up to refine pills. There is no medical faculty in the inner yard. If we want to enter, we can only choose other courses. Good luck, seniors. You're here for Mr. Gu, right? Go in quickly. Teacher Gu said that you've been gone for a long time. All right, take care, seniors. Sima Yue chatted with them for a while before entering the room. Gulang had already cleaned up the teaching materials. Teacher Gu. Sima Yue bowed to Gulang. I heard that you were taken to the Devil Realm. Are you all right? Gulang asked. This matter was a secret among the students, but the teachers knew about it. The academy even sent teachers to participate in the search and rescue. Fortunately, Teacher Wu saved me. I'm still safe. Sima Yue said. That's good, said Glenn. Look at this. As he spoke, he took out a few sheets of paper and handed them to her. Sima Yue took the paper and looked at it. The more she looked at it, the happier she became. Teacher Gu, you've thought of a solution for my brother's illness? Gulang nodded. I've been studying his condition for the past year. Then, I came up with this method. I think it should be useful, but there's no way to test it. Why? Asked Sima Yue. Because this is an impossible prescription. Look at the last sheet. Gu said. Sima Yue took out the last piece of paper and looked at it. It was filled with the required ingredients. The more she looked down, the more shocked she became. These are the main ingredients. What I have here, I have ticked off at the back, said Glenn. The others, each one of them is very rare. Among them, the last few are the rarest. Of Earth's Yoyues, these were 10,000-year-old black sea cucumbers can only be found in the Ninth Star Ocean. Moreover, it's very rare to encounter one of this age. Old about. As for the last one, I know it exists, but I can't get it. Gulang said. No matter what, I have to find these things. Sima Yue said. Teacher Gu, you said you know where the Earth's eye is? When Gulang heard Sima Yue's words, he realized that he had said something wrong. He wanted to deny it, but when he saw Sima Yue's anxious gaze, he couldn't bear to lie to her. I do know where the Earth's eye is, but it's still the same. You can't get it. Why? Because it belongs to the Academy. No one can get it. Gulang said. So don't think about it. It's still early. We can think of other ways. Teacher Gu, do you think there are other ways? Sima Yue asked. Gulang was stunned and shook his head. He had thought for a long time before coming up with this idea. He had been very careful with these ingredients. If there were other ways, he wouldn't be so conflicted. So I have to give it a try. Sima Yue said. Teacher, please tell me where the Earth's eye is. Gulang was silent for a while, then said solemnly, "Forget it. This isn't a secret anymore. There's no harm in telling you. The Earth's eye is now in the forbidden area of the Academy." Forbidden area of the Academy? Inner courtyard? Gulang nodded. The Earth's eye has always been in the Academy. It has always been a secret. But a few decades ago, someone leaked the news, and some people found out about it. So in these few years, many people came to the Academy to find trouble. But because of the Academy's status, they didn't dare to openly snatch it. Sima Yue thought of the few geniuses from the Central region. Were they here for the Earth's eye? Teacher Go, only by entering the inner courtyard can one enter the forbidden area. Is that right? Sima Yue asked. You want to go? No. The forbidden area is very dangerous. Those who enter without permission don't come back. No, I'm not talking about this. The forbidden area of the Academy is off limits. Once you're discovered, you'll be chased out of the Academy. Gulang said anxiously. Teacher Good, don't worry. I didn't say that I want to go to the forbidden area. Sima Yue said. Besides, I can't go in now, right? I'm just thinking if there's a way to get some out. You didn't say that there's a lot of it. That's impossible. Gulang said. If everyone thinks like you, then the Earth's eye would be long gone. This kind of thing can't be used in the forbidden area. It's better to use it as a medicinal ingredient. It can even show its value. Sima Yue said. What nonsense. Gulang knocked her on the head. Sima Yue smiled and kept the paper. I'll go find someone to help me find other medicinal ingredients. Go. Gulang waved his hand, and Sima Yue left. Seeing her leaving figure, Gulang sighed. He didn't know if he was right to tell her this news. After Sima Yue came out, she went straight to Xian Yuan Pavilion and found the steward. The steward was a bald, old man with a pair of small eyes that shone with a shrewd light. Sima Yue didn't beat around the bush. She took out the token that Jun-song gave her and said, I have something to trouble Xian Yuan Pavilion with. The steward saw the token in Sima Yue's hand and said respectfully, So, it's young Master Yue. What orders do you have? Sima Yue took out a piece of paper and said, Get someone to help me collect the medicinal ingredients on this. As for the reward, young Master Sima has this token. You don't need to pay to take things here. The steward said, No need to pay. She remembered that Junlan and the rest had to pay if they wanted to take things from Xian Yuan Pavilion. Could it be that her position in Xian Yuan Pavilion was higher than theirs? Chapter 599. Then can you help me check if the Xian Yuan Pavilion has the herbs listed here? Sima Yue asked. The steward took the paper and saw what was written on it. Even though he was experienced and knowledgeable, he was still shocked. Sima Yue looked at him and wondered if he was unwilling to give it to her because it was too precious. Don't worry, I won't take the Xian Yuan Pavilion's things for free. I'll give you a corresponding reward. Young Master Yue, you've misunderstood. I'm just surprised by these things. The manager explained. Does the Xian Yuan Pavilion have these things? Sima Yue asked. As long as it wasn't that the other party didn't want to give it to him, everything was negotiable. Some of them are available here. Some of them are only available in the central regions. However, we can transfer the goods. However, we don't have the last 3 items. The manager said. Sima Yue knew that the last 3 items were hard to find. It was good enough that she could gather all the other items. Then I'll have to trouble you to prepare these medicinal herbs for me. As for the remaining 3, get someone to help me find them. If they can find them, I'll buy them at a high price, and I'll reward you handsomely. Okay, I will send the last 3 items to the entire Xian Yuan Pavilion and let everyone help you keep an eye out. The steward said, When do you want the rest? As long as everything is ready, there's no need to rush. Sima Yue said, Also, we don't need the Earth's eye. Help me find the other 2. If you find it, please let me know. All right. When Sima Yue came out of the Xian Yuan Pavilion, it was already afternoon. Unexpectedly, she met a few acquaintances not long after she went out. When Tobian saw Sima Yue, she walked over and said, Yue, what a coincidence. When we heard that you were back, we were going to visit you later. We didn't expect to meet you here. Didn't you prepare for the competition later? Sima Yue saw that only Tuobian, Air, and Feng Wuhan were present this time. Mu Lin and Wang Kai were not present. What's there to prepare for a little competition like that? The autumn air is refreshing. It's the best time to come out and drink tea. Tuoba Yin Air said, "We're preparing to drink tea. Do you want to come with us?" Sima Yue originally wanted to reject, but when she saw Tuoba Yin Air winking at her, as if she had something to say to her, she nodded and followed them to the tea house. After the waiters served the tea, Tuoba Yin and Feng Wuhan raised their teacups. Tuoba said gratefully, "Yu Yue, thank you for saving my uncle. Wu Chun and I will use tea instead of wine to propose a toast to you." "Your uncle? Tuoba Wuchen?" Sima Yue asked. "Yes. He and Uncle Xing have been missing for many years. We have always been looking for him, but we never thought that the two of them would be trapped in the blood-red continent for so many years." Tuoba Yin Air said, "Actually, I have a question. Why haven't they found a way to leave the bloody tunnel after so many years?" Sima Yue asked. Tuoba Yin and Feng Wuhan looked at each other and hesitated for a moment before saying, "Because they were also brought to the devil realm. However, we don't know what they went through. Master and Tuoba Wuchen also went to the devil realm, and they stayed there for so many years. How did they survive? How did they come back? It seemed like they had many secrets on them." Sima Yue raised her teacup and proposed a toast to them. The three of them drank the tea and smiled at each other. "All right, if Han knew that you came back, he would definitely be very happy. He has already come out to look for you a few times. When he found out that you were taken to the devil realm, he wanted to look for you as well." Tuoba Yinner said, "In a few days, they will come out to visit. He should come out when he gets the news." Just as Tan said, in a few days, Tuoba Han and Feng Wuhong came to look for her. "I really can't believe that you actually went to the devil realm. What's even more unbelievable is that you actually came back unscathed from the devil realm." Feng Yuhang and Sima Yue were somewhat familiar with each other. With Feng Zhixing's relationship, they spoke much more casually. "I also feel that it's very strange." Sima Yue said, "Everyone seems to think that it's normal for me to be missing an arm or a leg. Han, how has your body been this year? You can check it yourself." Tuoba Han sat beside her and stretched out his hand for her to check. Sima Yue took his pulse, and her lips curled into a charming smile. "I can't feel the poison anymore. Congratulations, you've advanced again. I have to thank you for this. If you didn't detoxify the poison in my body, I would probably need a few more years to advance." Tuoba Han said, "Your talent is good," Sima Yue said. Tuoba Han smiled. After interacting with her a few times, he realized that her personality was sometimes very mild and sometimes a little hooligan. "No matter what, we will remember your kindness to me and the Tuoba family." Tuoba Han said, "Since you've already said so, then remember it." Sima Yue said, "I have something to ask you." He had just said that her personality was mild, but this hooligan side of her was showing again. "Say it, what is it?" "As long as I know, I will definitely tell you." "You said it yourself." Sima Yue said, "You geniuses from the inner regions came to the academy. Is it because of the thing in the forbidden area of the inner courtyard?" Tuoba Han didn't think that she would actually ask this question. His heart skipped a beat. He saw that she was looking at him with a look that said, "You know what to say." He then looked at Feng Yuhang. Seeing that there was no objection, he nodded and said, "Yes. That thing is the eye of the earth." She asked again, "Yes. Then how much do you know about the forbidden area? Have you entered it before? What is it like inside?" Tuoba Han saw that she was so concerned and asked back, "Yue, don't tell me that you are also interested in that thing. If you all are interested in the eye of the earth, why can't I?" Sima Yue smiled and looked at the two of them. "Since we are so familiar with each other, shouldn't you share your resources? Then you have to tell me what you want it for." Tuoba Han said, "The eye of the earth could be used as a medicinal ingredient. More importantly, it contained a huge amount of power. It was said that it could destroy heaven and earth. That was why it was coveted by many big powers. To save people." Sima Yue said, "Medicine. And I only need a little. If possible, you should give it up." Feng Yuhang said, "The forbidden area of the inner courtyard. It is said that many people have died recently." That's right. Tuoba Han agreed. If possible, you should change it. Sima Yue sighed and said, if I could change it, would I still be interested in it? Don't you all want this? If you get it, can you give me a little? I can give you a reward. My life was saved by you. What reward are you talking about? If possible, I want to give you a little, but what? The last time we entered the forbidden area, we didn't find the Eye of the Earth at all. Chapter 600. The Eye of the Earth wasn't in the Academy's forbidden area? Sima Yoyue's heart jumped. Are you sure he's not here? We are sure. Tuoba Han said. The last time we went there, we almost lost our lives, but we also saw the situation inside the forbidden grounds clearly. We really didn't see the Earth's eye. Therefore, we guess that the Eye of the Earth is no longer in the forbidden area. Could it be that he's no longer in the Academy? Sima Yue said worriedly. Could it be that there are too many people fighting for the Earth's eye recently, so the Academy moved it to another location? Or have they moved to a place outside the Academy? No, the Earth's eye is still in the inner courtyard. Tuoba Han said with certainty. How can you be sure? Because the Eye of the Earth emits a fragrance. Although it's very faint, I can still smell it. Feng Yuhang said, I've been in the Academy for so many years, so I'm very familiar with this smell. If I'm not around, the fragrance will dissipate. Fragrance? The Eye of the Earth is very mysterious. Just by smelling that fragrance, my cultivation speed will increase. Feng Yuhang said, this is also the reason why many people are unwilling to leave when they are old enough to do so. There's such a wonderful thing. Sima Yue felt that this was very novel. Smelling the fragrance could increase one's cultivation speed. This was too miraculous. Of course. Do you think that the Earth's eye can only be used as medicine? Tuoba Han knew that he had guessed correctly when he saw Sima Yoyue's expression. Since there's a fragrance, can't we just follow the source of the fragrance? Sima Yue said, you can't find it. Feng Yuhang said, that fragrance will appear every night at midnight and will last until noon the next day. No matter where he was in the inner yard, the smell was the same. You have no way of finding the direction of that thing. Sima Yue fell silent. She lowered her head and looked at the blue and white porcelain teacup. Finally, she made a decision in her heart. There's still a year before the inner court selection begins. With your talent, it won't be a problem for you to enter the inner court. However, you have to think carefully about which academy you intend to enter. Among them, the best and most suitable for you are alchemy and array formation. Tuoba Han said, let's talk about this later. Sima Yue said, let's see which one I want to learn more. There was still a year's time left. She had to find other ways to gather the herbs and improve her cultivation in this 1 year's time. However, now that he had a goal, he was even more motivated. A few days later, the outer sex competition began. She went to watch Sima Yulin's array competition, Fatty Chu's armament competition, as well as Ouyang Fei and Bai Gongtang's alchemy competition. After that, she went to watch her brother's competition. In the end, she realized that there were really many talents in the sect. Furthermore, only 10 to 20% of the talents were chosen to enter the inner sect. This was a little difficult. Fortunately, she saw that everyone's strength wasn't low, so it shouldn't be a problem for them to enter the inner courtyard. In the following days, she still frequently went to the library to borrow books, but she was not as anxious as before. Instead, she put more energy into refining pills. She had been able to refine Tier 6 pills for a long time, but because of the limitations of her strength, she had not been able to advance to Tier 7. Now that she had the strength, it was time for her to become a Tier 7 alchemist. She spent almost the entire day in Wu Lingyu's courtyard, entering the Spirit Pagoda to practice alchemy. When she was tired, she would flip through the medical books to find other ways to solve Shimin Feng's problem. However, this method was not so easy to find. She spent a year and still couldn't find it. However, this confirmed the feasibility of Gulang's method. However, her alchemy rank had really advanced to Tier 7, and she had become a Tier 7 alchemist. A Tier 7 alchemist who was not even 30 years old. If news of this talent were to spread, the entire continent would probably tremble. Even if the people in the inner regions knew, they would be impatient to poach her. Apart from alchemy, her strength had also advanced, becoming a divine king. She was only one step away from divine overlord. A year passed quickly. The Heavenly Sect's outer courtyard students were very excited because the decennial selection was about to begin. If they could enter the inner sect to study, they would get more cultivation resources. Sima Yue did not enter the Spirit Pagoda these few days, so she returned to her dorm to discuss alchemy and arrays with Bei Gongtang and the others. Yue, you haven't been here recently. We have something we haven't told you. Bei Gongtang said. Little Two has already entered the inner sect. Little Two has already entered? Sima Yue was a little surprised. The vice principal has completely activated the blood in his body. For someone like him, there is no time limit. He can enter the inner sect to study at any time. Wei Ziqi explained. That's good. The inner sect is safer than the outer sect. In the future, if his clan knows of his existence, they will have to think twice before touching him. Sima Yue said, All right, 2 days ago, the people from Xianyuan Pavilion said that we should go there when we have time. Fatty Chu said, There should be news about the ingredients you want. Wei Ziqi guessed, I'll go take a look now. Do you want to come along? Or do you want to continue studying the things in your hands? Sima Yue stood up and asked, We can't finish studying these things in a short period of time. The closer it is to the selection, the more relaxed we have to be. Fatty Chu said with a smile, We can still go to Memory Restaurant to eat after we go. In the past 2 years, they had been worried about Yue in the first year. In the second year, everyone was busy and had not had a good meal in a long time. The few of them went to Xianyuan Pavilion first. Bei Gongtang and the rest casually looked at the things downstairs. If they saw something they wanted to buy, they would take it down and prepare to settle the bill. Sima Yue followed the shop assistant upstairs and went to see the manager. Young Master Yue, you're finally here. When the manager saw Sima Yue enter, he stood up and said, If you didn't come, I would have gone to the academy to look for you. Sima Yue saw that the manager was so anxious and asked, Is there news about the 2 ingredients I want? This year, Xianyuan Pavilion had prepared the other ingredients. Only the amber tears and black sea cucumber were left. There is news about the black sea cucumber. The manager said, but the other party said that they want to meet you personally to see what price you can offer. Also, we have this. The manager took out a box and handed it to her. Sima Yue opened the box and saw a golden amber tear lying inside. This is the amber tears? Looking at the golden lake that was like an eye, she excitedly bit her lower lip. Where did you find this? It was sent by Pavilion Head Song. He said that your Aunt Fong got the news and asked someone to find it for you. The manager said, Aunt Fong. Sima Yue did not expect to hear Fong, Ru Yan's name at this time. She did not expect that she would find such a rare item for her. Chapter 601. Sima Yue caressed the box containing amber tears, feeling touched. She must have asked the Xianyuan Pavilion to help her search for amber tears and black sea cucumber on such a large scale. She, who had a deep relationship with the Xianyuan Pavilion, got the news and helped her find these. She put away the box and also put away her emotions. Then she asked, Where is the black sea cucumber you mentioned? That person is not here, but he said that he will be here the day after tomorrow and will stay for half a day. When the time comes, he can arrange for you to meet in the afternoon of the day after tomorrow. The supervisor said, The day after tomorrow? Sima Yue was stunned. All right, I'll come over at noon the day after tomorrow. The day after tomorrow was the day of the inner court selection. He hoped that he wouldn't miss it. After explaining everything clearly, Sima Yue, Bei Gongtang, and the others returned to the courtyard. Knowing that she was going out the day after tomorrow, everyone was a little worried. Other than the average spirit master, the others will be selected on the first day. If you go there and miss the selection, what will you do? Wei Ziqi said with some worry. But that person will only arrive at noon and leave that night. I can't miss him. Sima Yue said, A 10,000-year-old black sea cucumber is very rare even in the 9-star ocean. I don't know if I'll be able to get one in a limited time if I miss it. I'll try to come back as soon as possible. I heard that the competition this time is to complete the pills set by the Academy before 6 p.m. The best alchemy department students are at the 6th rank. I think their questions shouldn't exceed the 6th rank. Ouyang Fei said. Sima Yue had decided to apply for the alchemy department. She might have a chance to come into contact with the Eye of the Earth. But to refine a 6th-ranked pill, even the simplest one requires 4 to 5 hours. Bei Gong Tang said, So, you don't have much time? Yes, I hope that the other party is easy to talk to and can come back soon. Sima Yue sighed. If we miss the inner yard selection, it will be even more difficult to obtain the Earth's Eye. Hopefully, there won't be any accidents that day. A day passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, the outer courtyard was in an uproar. There were excited students everywhere. The teachers of the inner courtyard were not in a hurry at all. They only arrived at the selection site when it was almost noon. Sima Yue was already waiting in Xianyuan Pavilion. As the teacher began to announce the selection, Sima Yue had already received the news through the Mother Sunstone. The Blue Lotus pill was a rare level 6 medicinal pill. It was mainly used to treat people who had suffered from qi deviation and injured their meridians. Most people would need 5 to 6 hours to concoct this pill. Sima Yue had once spent 5 hours to concoct this pill. It ended before 6 o'clock, which meant that she had to rush back before 1 o'clock, and it was almost 12 o'clock now. She waited in the Xianyuan Pavilion, trying to calm her anxious heart, and began to recall the process of refining the cyan lotus pill in her mind. When it was almost 1 o'clock, a man in black walked in with the steward. Young Master Yue, this is Child Wu La, the steward said. This is the child who wants to buy black sea cucumber. Please take your time. After the steward finished speaking, he left the room for the two of them. Child Wu La, a member of the Violet Water Beast royal family from the Jiuxingming Sea? Sima Yue looked at Wu Lali. Wu Lali raised his eyebrows, saying, I didn't expect you to be so knowledgeable at such a young age. You actually know about my Violet Water Beast royal family. I've heard someone mention it before. Sima Yue replied, I heard that Child Wu La is willing to sell black sea cucumber that is over 10,000 years old. Wrong. I'm not selling, I'm exchanging. Wu Lali said, I came out this time to look for something. As long as you have it, we can exchange. If you don't have it, then there's no need for us to continue talking. What do you want? 10,000 years old red snow ginseng. Wu Lali said. Sima Yue's heart skipped a beat, secretly cursing this guy's appetite. 10,000 years old red snow ginseng was rarer than 10,000 years old black sea cucumber. This guy's abacus was great. I don't have it, she said directly. In that case, we have nothing to talk about. Wu Lali stood up and wanted to leave. Wait a minute. Sima Yue called out to him. Wu Lali turned around. Don't tell me you have it again. I don't have red snow ginseng. Sima Yue said, but I think we can continue talking. What right do you have to talk to me? Wu Lali said. All meridians destroyed, spirit pool destroyed, whole body paralyzed. I think the person you want to save should be like this right now, right? Sima Yue said calmly. Seeing his face suddenly change, she laughed. Tell me, do I have a right to talk to you right now? Wu Lali's body moved, and in the blink of an eye, he was in front of Sima Yue. He grabbed her neck, and his eyes flashed with a dark red light. Who are you? How do you know this? Wu Lali said, full of killing intent. Sima Yue was not afraid. She reached out and pried his hand away, saying, Aren't you looking for red snow ginseng to save people? And red snow ginseng's greatest use is to refine nirvana pills. It can allow a crippled person to undergo nirvana and cultivate again. Wu Lali saw that she did not seem to be lying, so he did not use much strength. You're an alchemist? Yes, Sima Yue said with a hoarse voice. She rubbed her neck. These strong people all had a common problem. They liked to strangle people. This guy was even more ruthless, almost strangling her to death. Her throat was damaged by him, and there was a burning pain. Even her voice changed. She quickly took out a pill and ate it. Wu Lali calmed down and looked at her calmly eating the pill, asking, You said you have the right to talk to me. Do you think you have the right to talk to me just because you know his situation? Sima Yue ate the pill and felt that her throat was better. She put the pill away and sat back down. She waved at Wu La Li and waited for him to sit back down before saying, "You want to refine Nirvana pills, but you can't find all the ingredients. Other than red snow ginseng, you can't find any other ingredients. Am I right?" "How do you know?" Wu La Li frowned. "Because the ones you're missing are all extinct." Sima Yue said, "Of course you can't find ingredients that don't exist." Wu La Li frowned. Many people had already told him that most of the ingredients he was looking for no longer existed. But he did not want to give up and kept searching all over the continent. "If you're willing to wait, I can save him." Sima Yue did not care about his expression and continued. "One is the illusory Nirvana pills, and the other is saving him. If it were you, which one would you choose?" Wu Lali narrowed his eyes and stared at her calm face. "How do I know if you really have the ability to save him?" Chapter 602. Sima Yue was not anxious about Wu La Li's questioning. She said confidently, "Do you have any other choice other than trusting me?" Wu La Li raised his eyebrows. He didn't like her confidence. Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. I think that you have already thought of all the methods that you can think of. You have also looked for all the people that you can find. However, you have not obtained a better solution. Otherwise, you would not have placed your hopes on this illusory Nirvana pill. Sima Yue said, "Don't be so quick to get angry. Being too impulsive is not a quality an emperor should have." Wu La Li's anger was extinguished by her words. "You're saying that I'm going to bet on you? You can only choose to gamble now." Sima Yue said, "But you can continue to look for your Nirvana pill while you gamble. That wouldn't affect anything, would it? I'm just another backup for you. What if I find those materials later? Then I can promise you one thing. I'll help you with something in the future." "You?" Wu Lali glanced at her from head to toe. This brat was really overconfident. How could Sima Yue not understand the meaning of his eyes? "Child Wula, have you heard of a saying? What? One would rather bully a white-bearded old man than bully a poor young man. Although my current strength is very low, I am still young. I still have a bright future ahead of me. Besides, I'm quite talented," Sima Yue said with a smile. Uff. Wu Lali laughed for real this time. He had never seen anyone praise him like this. "You're the most confident person I've ever met." "Thank you for your compliment," Sima Yue replied without hesitation. "I don't think I'm praising you. I'll take that as a compliment." Sima Yue said, "To humans, black sea cucumber is a very rare medicinal ingredient, but to the Sea clan, it's not uncommon. To be honest, this is very important to me. However, the Nine-Star Ocean is so big. Who knows, I might run into someone else who has it. However, you won't be able to meet a doctor as confident as me. How about it, Child Wula? Is this a good deal?" "I need to know your strength," Wu Lali said. "If you agree to give it to me, I can show you my strength right away," Sima Yue said. "First, I want the black sea cucumber in stock." Wu Lali looked at her and thought for a while. Maybe it was her confident look that made him believe her. "The black sea cucumber that has left the sea cucumber from the bottom, or it will quickly. The black sea cucumber that will prove it." Sima Yue kept the black sea cucumber, and her heart finally relaxed. "All right, come with me." Wu Lali followed her out and realized that she had become so anxious after leaving the house that she had been so calm just a moment ago. "Young Master Yu, the beast carriage is ready." The steward was waiting for her in the hall below the stairs. "Child Wula is going to school with me. I will send him back in a while." Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali and ran towards the carriage at the door. Wu Lali followed her out. Seeing the small hand grabbing his, a dark light flashed in his eyes. This feeling didn't seem to belong to a man's hand. Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali onto the carriage and shouted to the driver, "Go to the heavenly sect, quickly." "Okay, Child Yue, sit tight," the driver shouted and drove the carriage towards the heavenly sect. Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue's anxious face. It was very different from before. He couldn't help but ask, "Are you anxious?" "Yes." Sima Yue nodded. She was indeed anxious because a long time had passed. She didn't know if she could catch up. You are very strange. Sima Yue looked at him doubtfully. She didn't understand his words. When you were talking to me, you were very calm and didn't seem to be anxious at all. But now, Wu Lali looked at her with interest. How can I talk to you if I'm not calm? Sima Yue smiled. I have always believed that no matter how anxious you are, you have to calm down and do what you're doing now. Very good psychology. Wu Lali leaned back. You said you wanted to prove your ability to me. Is this what you are in a hurry to do? Yes. If I can do this well, then you will be able to see my ability. Sima Yue said. She opened the curtains and looked. The beast carriage was very fast. It was already halfway through the journey. The two didn't speak for the rest of the time. Sima Yue lowered her head and thought about her own matters. Wu Lali looked at her thoughtfully. The academy's outdoor venue was bustling with noise because it was the first day of the intersect selection. It was also the day of the selection for the alchemy department. In order to satisfy everyone's curiosity, only one department's assessment was held each day. Today, it was alchemy. Tomorrow, it was arrays. The day after that, it was weapon refining. The day after that, it was beast taming. And the last few days were spirit masters. The open-air venue was filled with students who were watching the competition attentively. It was very rare to see hundreds of students refining pills together. Half of the time had already passed. Those who were fast had already finished refining the ingredients and were beginning the second step of fusing them. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei were at the back. The two of them had already finished refining the ingredients and were preparing for the second step. Beside them, a pill furnace and 2 sets of ingredients were still on the table. Before the two of them fused, they glanced at that position and then looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with deep worry. It's already 2:30. Why isn't Yue here yet? Fatty Chu said worriedly. It's only 3.5 hours. To successfully refine a 6th-ranked pill, I'm afraid. No, 5th bro won't give up. Sima Yue clenched his fist. He didn't believe that Sima Yue would give up this opportunity. I believe in her too, Sima Yulin said. The people in the stands had already noticed that one person was absent. Previously, everyone thought that someone would be late. Now it seemed that the person had given up this opportunity. The student that Olga mentioned didn't come? On the rostrum, a teacher said to Gu Liang beside him, I wanted to see what kind of student you praise so much looks like. Now it seems that there's no chance. Gu Liang rolled his eyes when he saw his infuriating smile. He looked at the last empty seat and felt a little worried. That kid was so determined to go to the intersect. Why was he absent now? Could it be that something happened? But his friends and family were here. If something happened to him, why would they still be here? At this time, there was a noise at the entrance of the venue. Everyone looked and saw that the beast carriage had driven directly to the entrance. Find a place to sit. Sima Yue jumped down from the carriage and ran towards the venue. Stop! What are you doing? The teacher outside the venue stopped her. Teacher, I'm here to take the selection test. Sima Yue replied. No, you can't go in. The teacher said firmly. Chapter 603. Why? Isn't there a time limit for this competition? Sima Yue was stunned and asked. Mike Literature is busy updating chapters every day. Please remember to come often. There's no rule that says you can't go in after the time limit, but there's only 3.5 hours left until the end of the exam. It's impossible to refine a 6th grade pill, so it's useless for you to go in. You'll even disturb the other students' exams. You should go back. No, I have to participate. Sima Yue said firmly. I have to participate. No, go back quickly. Come earlier for the next selection. Don't miss the opportunity again. The teacher waved his hand, indicating for her to leave quickly. Teacher, this selection is very important to me. Teacher, please make an exception for me. Sima Yue begged. It's not about being accommodating. You don't have enough time to go in now. Even if you go, it'll be a waste of time. The teacher's heart wasn't made of stone. Seeing such a young boy begging in front of him, he couldn't bear it. He also understood how big the difference was between the inner courtyard and the outer courtyard. What's wrong? Gulang came from behind and asked, Teacher Gu, Teacher Gu, this student said that she wants to go in and participate in the assessment. That teacher said, Let her in, said Glenn. But there's not much time left. Let her in. Gulang repeated and turned back. The teacher on guard didn't understand why Gulang wanted her to go in, but he still stepped aside to let her pass. Thank you, teacher. Sima Yue smiled at him and ran towards the assessment area. Bei Gong Tang and the others had already told her where she was, so she directly ran towards them. Seeing the two of them, she smiled at them and began to check the herbs on the table. When Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei saw them, they heaved a sigh of relief and continued to merge. Su Jin lazily leaned back in his chair. Seeing Gulang come back, he smiled and said, It's him. Gulang didn't answer as he watched Sima Yu refine pills with rapt attention. Su Jin knew that he was like this and wasn't angry. He watched Sima Yu refine pills with him. Time is so tight, but she can still check the materials in an orderly manner. Her temperament is not bad. But old Gu, do you think she can refine the green lotus pill in such a short time? This time, Gulang finally paid attention to him. Moreover, he even had a slight smile on his face, which made Su Jin extremely shocked. As long as it's her, it's fine. Su Jin looked at the smile on the corner of his mouth in horror and shouted, What the hell, it can't be old Gu. You're actually smiling. Heavens, your ice cube face can actually smile. His shout attracted the attention of a few other teachers. The teachers who were about to scold the person who caused the commotion all turned their heads back when they saw him. So was this lunatic? Just ignore him. Su Jin didn't care about everyone's attitude and continued to talk to Gulang, but Gulang just ignored him. Old Gu, why do you keep looking at her? Now that he only had 3 hours, it was impossible for him to refine the green lotus pill. Holy shit, am I seeing things? She actually... The expression on Su Jin's face was even more horrified than when he saw Gulang smile just now. His hand that was pointing at Sima Yue kept trembling, and he couldn't say a word. When the other teachers saw his big reaction, they also looked at Sima Yue. When they saw her throwing several herbs into the furnace at the same time, they were all shocked. She's crazy? How could she put all these herbs in at the same time? How can she extract the essence like this? Waste. A teacher shouted. Whose student is that? How could she waste herbs like this? How do the teachers in the outer court teach her? No, she's not my student. She's also not my student. Even if she's not your student, she can't waste herbs like this. I suggest that the school should punish a student who doesn't cherish herbs like this. That's the student who just came in, right? Why did you let this kind of student in? See, just as they were denouncing her, Sima Yue threw in a few more herbs and continued to refine them. How can Tian waste herbs like this? I suggest that she be disqualified from the assessment and be chased out. Right? We can't let her continue to waste herbs. A person who doesn't know how to cherish herbs can't become a good alchemist. I agree. Are you all stupid? Just as the teachers were shocked, a contemptuous voice interrupted their discussion. Su Jin, what do you mean? Being called stupid, everyone was unhappy. Why said is what I meant. You can't even understand this. Looks like you're really stupid. Su Jin lazily said. Su Jin, don't use your status to randomly slander people. Another teacher stood up and reprimanded him. How am I randomly slandering people? Su Jin glanced at that teacher. You can't even see the multiple refining method and said that the student is wasting herbs. If you're not stupid, then what are you? What did you say? That teacher's body swayed, and he took a step back to stabilize his body. Multiple refining method. How can she know the multiple refining method? With her strength, how can she control this kind of refining method? Your last question hit the nail on the head. Su Jin said, but no matter how she controlled it, she did it. Look at the essence that she refined. It's very pure. A middle-aged man who hadn't spoken until now said, All right, what are you all arguing about? There are still so many students watching. Let's all quietly watch the students refine. Yes. Once the man spoke, everyone quieted down and didn't say anything else. However, everyone's attention was now on her. They were very curious as to how she could control the multiple refining method. You already knew that she could do this. Su-jin moved to Golang's side and said, "That's why you let her participate in the selection. Because you know that this can greatly shorten the time she needs to refine pills." Golang glanced at him and said, "You still ask when you know. Damn, old Ge, you really know that you did it on purpose." Su-jin fiercely glared at Golang. "I already said that she's very special. You didn't take it to heart." Golang said with a smile, "You only said that her talent is not bad. Her medical skills are very high. She can refine pills, and she's very special. You didn't say that she knew the multiple refining method." Su-jin complained. "If I told you, how could it be more shocking than seeing it with your own eyes?" Golang didn't want to admit that he did it on purpose. Who told him to keep chattering in his ear? To be honest, when he first found out that she knew the multiple refining method, his shock wasn't any smaller than Su-jin's. Since he himself was shocked, he naturally wanted to pull this guy along. Su-jin licked his lips and said, "This student, I definitely want her." Chapter 604. Sima Yue knew what kind of shock her actions would bring, but she had no other choice. She had to enter the inner court and find the Eye of the Earth on the new Dagger Strange website. Moreover, if she had enough talent, she would be able to receive more training from the academy. Perhaps it would be easier for her to obtain information. The people in the stands were stunned by her various movements. Seeing her concoct pills, it was as if they were watching a magnificent performance. Wu Lali casually found a seat and sat down. He kept looking at the people in the room. He looked at the others and then at her. He suddenly believed what she said before. Perhaps she could really help them. Even if she couldn't, she was still a human worth roping in. Sima Yue spent 1.5 hours refining the herbs. Because she had to concentrate on refining several kinds of herbs at the same time, she also felt a little tired after refining. She didn't have time to do it again, so she had to succeed in one go. In order to ensure that her spiritual power could keep up, she took out a pill and ate it, then continued to refine pills. The fusion process was also a time-consuming process. She took out the scarlet honey and added a little bit into it, silently increasing the effects of the blue lotus pill. It also sped up the fusion process. An hour later, the fusion was complete. She was left with the final and most crucial step, condensing the core. At this time, some people who were faster had already finished refining their pills, while some people failed at the last moment. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei had already finished refining, but they were not in a hurry to hand in their results. Instead, they stood at their own positions and watched Yue condense the pill. When Mo Sha had taught her the pill congealing technique, although they had learned some of it, they were not as proficient as her. "This is..." The middle-aged man stood up from his seat. The expression on his face could no longer be described as shock. "Old Du, what's wrong?" Those alchemist teachers were very puzzled when they saw Du Zishi so excited. Her pill congealing technique. Su-jin also looked at Sima Yue in a daze. He saw her forming seals one by one and reached out to touch his chest. He felt like his heart was about to jump out of his chest. "Old Gu, you've really found a genius." "No, she's a genius." He turned around and grabbed Golang's hand. "She's such a good person. Why did you let her study medicine like you?" "Fortunately, there's no medical department in the inner courtyard. Otherwise, we'd be pissed off by you." Golang looked up at the sky and thought, "If this brat really enters the inner courtyard, I think you'll really die from anger one day." Time slipped by bit, and Sima Yu's forehead was already covered in dense beads of sweat. Pucci, the sound of the fire extinguishing and the explosion of the furnace could be heard one after another. Sima Yue was not affected at all. She calmly continued with the final step of condensing the pill. Clang! The sound of gongs and drums rang out. Everyone had to stop what they were doing and extinguish the flames under the pill furnace. "Now, Elder Du, please lead the teachers of the inner court to come and check the results." The teacher guarding the door said. Du Zishi led Su-jin and the other teachers, starting from the first row, to inspect them one by one. Those who had successfully refined their pills all placed their pills on the table, their heads held high and chests puffed out in excitement. Those who did not succeed lowered their heads in disappointment. The few hundred people finished their inspection very quickly. Bei Gongtang and Ouyang Fei were both successfully selected. In the end, only Sima Yue was left. Duzashi walked in front of Sima Yue and stared at her, saying, "Your talent is very good. Thank you for the compliment." Sima Yue said with a smile, "You're able to do this in 3.5 hours. You're much better than your fellow disciples." Duzashi said, "It doesn't matter if you're successful in refining the pill or not. You can enter the inner courtyard." Sima Yue blinked her eyes. He had given her a pass without even looking at her pill. Seeing that he was preparing to leave, she understood what he was thinking. "Teacher, you're not going to look at the pill I refined?" she asked. "You've already passed the test." Duzashi said, "Thank you, teacher, for your kindness. But this test still depends on the pill. Teacher doesn't want to give the impression that he's opening the back door." Sima Yue said, "Are you sure?" Duzashi looked at Sima Yue. "Do you know that if you open this pill furnace and don't refine it successfully, you won't be able to enter the inner courtyard?" They did not smell the fragrance of the pill at all. In their opinion, she must have failed to refine the pill. Duzashi said this because he wanted to give her a chance to enter the inner courtyard. "I'm sure." Sima Yue stretched out her hand and opened the pill furnace. A medicinal fragrance wafted out. She successfully refined the pill. The surrounding students all gathered around and smelled the fragrance. Everyone knew that she had successfully refined the pill and that the quality was not low. High-grade green lotus pill. Su Jin knew the grade of the pill just by smelling the fragrance. Sima Yue took out the pill from the pill furnace and placed it in her palm, extending it in front of Duzashi. "Not bad, not bad. Now you're a student of the inner courtyard." Duzashi said, "Not bad," twice before leaving with a smile. Su Jin moved in front of Sima Yue, giving a certain someone who was immersed in joy a fright. Sima Yue looked at the face that suddenly enlarged and subconsciously slapped it. The crisp sound caused the originally noisy venue to suddenly quiet down. Everyone looked over, making the two parties a little embarrassed. "I just saw a big mosquito on your face." Sima Yue retracted her hand and said to the people who were looking at them, "I was wondering why it was itchy. So it was because of the mosquito." Su Jin calmly touched his face. This brat was really ruthless. Sima Yue innocently blinked at him. "Who asked you to suddenly come in front of me? Little brat, your talent is not bad. I'll teach you well in the future." Su Jin smiled at her and said, "Don't worry, I'll definitely dig out your talent to the fullest." "Can I choose my own teacher?" Sima Yue asked. "No." Su Jin smiled and said, "Good student, come and report early. I'll wait for you." "Ha ha." Su Jin laughed and left. Sima Yue looked at his back and suddenly felt that if she followed such a teacher, her future life would be unimaginable. Although the other teachers were unhappy with Su Jin's method of choosing a student in advance, no one dared to say a word. "Teacher Ge." Sima Yue looked at Gelang. Gelang walked over and patted her shoulder, saying he has the right to choose a student first. This was given to him by the principal. However, he's very good at alchemy. You'll definitely learn a lot from him. And learn well. After saying that, he left. Sima Yue stood in the same place, feeling that her future days were dark. Chapter 605. Book title, Chapter Asking for Leave. Author, you really scared us to death. We all thought that you wouldn't be able to make it back in time. Bei Gongtang walked to her side and said happily. Sima Yue smiled and said, "I also thought that I wouldn't be able to make it in time, but the negotiation process was quite smooth, so I made it in time." "Is that the person?" Ouyang Fei asked Walali, who was standing outside the arena. After the examination ended, the other students had already left one after another. Only he was still waiting at the same spot. "That's him. If I'm not wrong, he should be from the Violet Water Beast Imperial family." Sima Yue said, "I still have some things to discuss with her. I'll come back later." "All right." When Fatty Chu and the rest walked down, they saw that Sima Yue was already walking towards the exit. Yue, why did you leave without waiting for us? She said that she still had some things to discuss with that person. I think that they were only halfway through their discussion when they came over. Bei Gongtang said, that person is not weak. Sima Yulin said. Yue said that it might be someone from the Violet Water Beast clan's royal family. Ouyang Fei said, let's head back first. Sima Yue walked over. Wu Lali had already come down from the viewing platform. Let's go, we still have some things to talk about. Sima Yue said, I'll send you back. Your performance just now was very surprising. Wu Lali said, no wonder you're so confident. Thank you for your compliment, Sima Yue replied. You're not modest at all. Wu Lali turned and left. Sima Yue followed him and brought him back to Xinyuan Pavilion. Tell me about that person's situation. Sima Yue entered the room and took out a pen and paper, preparing to write it down. Although you're talented, but Wu Lali still didn't believe that she had a solution. How would you know if I can do it if you don't tell me? Sima Yue said, besides, you should still have some time, right? Since I made a deal with you, I naturally have to do my job well. Wu Lali looked at Sima Yue and saw the seriousness in her eyes. He smirked and said, all right, I'll tell you his symptoms. A few minutes later, Sima Yue was deep in thought as she looked at the paper on the table. She didn't even notice that Wu Lali was looking at her. Is there a way? Wu Lali asked. I have some clues, but it's best if I can see him with my own eyes so that I can treat him better. You can't see her, Wu Lali said. She is now in the 9-star ocean, placed on a crystal bed. If she moves, she will lose her life. What if I go? Sima Yue asked. Wu Lali stared at her. Do you know how dangerous the 9th-star dark sea is? I know, Sima Yue said. But you said that you can't bring her here, so I have to go and see her. But I don't know if the academy will agree if I ask for leave before entering the inner courtyard. All right, if you can go, I will guarantee your safe return. Wu Lali said, whether you can cure her or not, I won't ask you for the Black Sea cucumber. Although I really want to say that it's a promise, I still have to go back to the academy to ask for leave. If I can't get leave, I can't do anything. Sima Yue said, I'll go back now. When are you leaving? Tomorrow. I had some things to settle this afternoon, but now that I've been delayed, I can only push back my schedule by a day. If you can get leave, I'll change my schedule and bring you back. Then I'll give you an answer tomorrow. I'll go back and ask for leave now. Sima Yue stood up and left. After she left, a figure slowly appeared in the room. Your Highness, if she gets leave, do we really have to go back directly? That person asked. Yes. Wu Lali touched the space ring on his finger and said, but we already know the whereabouts of the dragon's beard. Let your people go. That's just a piece of news. It might not be true. I feel that she's more reliable than the dragon's beard. Wu Lali said, send someone to investigate her. A human with such outstanding talent. She won't be a nobody in the future. Yes, Your Highness. Sima Yue went back to the academy and went straight to the vice principal's place. She didn't expect him to be playing chess with Galang. Why are you here? The vice principal asked with a white chess piece in his hand. Vice principal, I want to ask for leave. Sima Yue said, leave? Didn't you just pass the inner courtyard exam? Once the other exams are over, you'll have to go to the inner courtyard to study. The vice principal said, I know, but I have something urgent to deal with, so I don't know if it's possible. By right, you don't belong to the outer courtyard anymore, so we can't approve it. You still have to go through the inner courtyard. The vice principal said awkwardly, but you haven't reported to the inner courtyard yet, so the inner courtyard probably doesn't have your information and won't approve it. Doesn't Su Jin have special privileges? Galang placed a chess piece on the chessboard and said, if he agrees, then you can report to him later. Really? Sima Yue said happily, but thinking about the slap she gave him today, she wasn't sure if he would make things difficult for her. Leave? Half an hour later, Su Jin's exclamation came from the vice principal's courtyard. I say, old Gu, you called me here in such a hurry just to let her ask for leave? Don't you know what I'm doing right now? Do I even need to know what you're doing? The smell of rouge on your body has already betrayed you. Galang said, if I don't call you here, am I supposed to ask the students to go to that place to find you? Sima Yue immediately understood where that place was. She couldn't help but lower her head and laugh when she thought about how a certain someone was drinking with girls, but was called back by Gulang in all seriousness. She really couldn't understand. Gulang was such a serious person. How did he become such close friends with someone like Su Jin? Laugh. If you laugh again, I won't approve or leave. Su Jin couldn't see Sima Yue snickering and threatened her. Teacher, does that mean you approve it? Sima Yue tried hard to suppress the smile on her lips and looked up at Su Jin, but her bright eyes still betrayed her. Su Jin was a little embarrassed by her gaze and explained subconsciously, "That's just a good friend of mine. We're just drinking tea and chatting." Who told the people there to put on rouge and powder? Even passing by would cause a smell. Seeing the smile in Sima Yue's eyes getting thicker, he suddenly stopped. Why was he explaining this to her? He was the teacher, she was the student, all right. He cleared his throat and said, "All right, tell me, why are you asking for leave? How long are you planning to ask for? Don't tell me you took a leave of absence just to avoid me." Chapter 606. Su Jin touched his handsome left cheek. In the evening, it was very painful from her slap. Cough, cough. About that, I'm really sorry about that slap. But that was really just my conditioned reflex. Sima Yue was shocked when she saw him touching her face. Was he going to settle the score with her? In any case, I'll remember this slap. Su Jin said, "You still haven't said why you're taking leave and for how long." "I'm going to the Nine-Star Ocean." "It should be a few months," Sima Yue replied. "Nine-Star Ocean? With your current strength? Are you sure you're not inviting me for a lifetime?" Su Jin couldn't remain calm when he heard about the Ninth-Star Ocean. If such a good seedling were to die early, it would be a huge loss. Even a vice principal and Gulang were surprised by the reason for her absence. "Yue, you want to go to the Nine-Star Sea?" Gulang frowned. "Do you know how dangerous that place is? I've long heard of the Nine-Star Ocean's reputation. However, I'm not going alone this time. I'm going with the Violet Water clan." Sima Yue said. "Violet Water Beast? How do you know people from the Violet Water Beast?" Gulang asked. The Violet Water Beast race was not a small race in the Nine-Star Ocean, and they were not a race that was easy to get along with. She was with the Violet Water Beast race, so it was inevitable that people would think the worst and worry that she was being threatened. "Teacher Gu, I found a black sea cucumber," Sima Yue said. "You made an exchange with them?" Gulang looked at her disapprovingly. The Violet Water clan has the bloodline of the ancient divine dragon. They have always been high and mighty. If you get involved with them, won't you? Don't worry, Mr. Gu. I'm just going to help them see a patient. Sima Yue said. Wulali didn't make things difficult for me. He only said that he would bring me there to take a look. Regardless of whether or not it worked, they would send me back. Wulali? The eldest prince of the Violet Water race? Su Jin asked. I think so, Sima Yue said. She didn't ask about Wulali's background. She only asked the steward for his name. The steward didn't say whether the other party was a prince or not. However, he did have the aura of a ruler. All right, I'll allow it. I'll give you a year's time. You have to rush back within a year. Su Jin said, all right, you can go. Sima Yue didn't think that Su Jin would agree to her request after hearing Wulali's name. She couldn't believe it at first, but after leaving the vice principal's courtyard, she realized that Su Jin had given her a month's leave. Old Su? Gulang waited for Sima Yue to leave before glancing at Su Jin. He obviously didn't agree with his actions. I've heard of Wulali before. He's one of the more principled spirit beasts. Since he promised to send her back, he won't go back on his word. Su Jin said, furthermore, if she can form a good relationship with the Violet Water clan, it will be beneficial for her in the future. Are you not anxious for her safety? Said Glenn. She came back safely after going to the Devil World. Although the Nine-Star Ocean is dangerous, it's still not as dangerous as the Devil World. Su Jin said, furthermore, she went to the Violet Water clan. As long as she doesn't wander around the Nine-Star Ocean, there shouldn't be a problem. As he spoke, he stretched lazily and said, it's late. It's time to go back and sleep. Old Gu, you disturb me. You have to compensate me in the future. Okay? All right, you can leave. Glenn was too lazy to pay attention to him. Why do I have the feeling that I'm being ignored after this? Su-Jin said. It's not an illusion. You can leave. Glenn said. All right, so heartless. Su-Jin snorted and left the courtyard. Sima Yue went to find Wu Lingyu. She saw him cooling off in the courtyard. She didn't seem to have seen him cultivate before. How could he be so strong? Senior brother, I have something to tell you. Sima Yue walked over and took out a chair to sit at the side. I have something to tell you as well. Wu Lingyu said, tell me about yourself first. I've asked the academy for a year's leave. Sima Yue said, I want to go to the 9-star ocean. The vice principal told me just now. Wu Lingyu was not surprised. She was the one who was surprised. The vice dean had passed the news to him so quickly. What about you, senior brother? What do you want to say? She asked. I'm leaving the academy. Wu Lingyu said. Leaving? Where are you going? Wu Lingyu sat up and said, I came here to accompany you. Now that you're going to the intersect, I can't go in. So there's no point in staying here. Coincidentally, the Sage Pavilion has some matters for me to settle. So I'll go back to the Sage Pavilion first. Those old guys in the Spirit Pagoda are still strong. As long as you don't offend too big a power, there shouldn't be any problems. So I won't be accompanying you this time. Sima Yue nodded. If you have something to do, go do it. I'll teach you how to set up this enchantment. In the future, when you enter the intersect, set up your own enchantment. Those old guys won't find out. This enchantment is so powerful. Even those old guys can be fooled. Of course, this is an ancient enchantment that I learned from the Sage Pavilion. How can it be compared to an ordinary enchantment? Wu Lingyu said, this isn't difficult. I'll teach you. I'll be leaving tomorrow morning. You'll have to keep in touch when you learn it. Then you'll be able to set up enchantments as you wish. I got it. Then let's begin. Thus, the two of them spent the night learning. On the morning of the second day, Wu Lingyu went out, saying that he was going to find the vice principal. When Sima Yue was almost done learning the enchantment, he came back from outside. Take this. If you run into any trouble in the 9-star ocean, take this to the Xuanyu clan. Wu Lingyu took out something that looked like a starfish and placed it in her hand. Remember, you're not alone. If there's anything, remember to look for me or the Divine Devil Valley. If not, look for those little birds. Don't put yourself in danger, understand? Sima Yue nodded. Go to the central region early. Those guys are already extremely curious about you. I'll go after I finish my studies. I'm leaving. Remember to inform me if there's anything. You know how to find me now, right? I know. Hurry up and go. Wu Lingyu saw that she didn't miss him at all. He sighed in his heart and pulled her into his embrace. Then, he lowered his head and kissed her lightly on the lips. Then, before she could react, he let go of her. When I'm not around, you can't get too close to other men, even if it's a male spirit beast. Wu Lingyu warned. Sima Yue rolled her eyes. She could only give him this for kissing her when she wasn't paying attention. Wu Lingyu saw that she wasn't as angry as before. He was in a good mood and walked in through the space tunnel. Reading background default settings: classic light, blue classic light, gray classic, green classic bright, yellow dark blue, ocean, autumn green, classic simple, elegant red powder, aristocratic family, red talk, thick sea, vast sky, broken heart pass, snow white world, gray world, font color default settings, white, red, green, blue, brown, font size default settings, small, medium, large, speed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1, 0, mouse scroll description, 1 to 10. 1 is the slowest, 10 is the fastest. Chapter 607. Bei Gongtang and the others didn't expect her to leave so soon. She had even applied for leave. Fatty, I'm sorry. I can't stay to watch the selection. You guys have to do your best. Sima Yue said with a smile. We will. Fatty Chu said seriously. We'll wait for you in the inner courtyard. All right. I'll come back to bring you the things from the 9-star ocean. Sima Yue said. After saying goodbye to them, Sima Yue went back home and told Sima Lai about leaving. Although Sima Lai was worried, he couldn't stop her. When she arrived at Xian Yuan Pavilion, it was almost evening. If you didn't come, I would have thought that our deal was off. Wu Lali said. I always keep my word. Sima Yue replied. When are we leaving? Now. Once Wu Lali finished speaking, he opened a spatial tunnel and let her in. When Sima Yue came out, they were in a primitive forest. This shouldn't be the Nine-Star Ocean, right? Sima Yue said as she looked at the towering trees. No, but this place isn't far from the Nine-Star Ocean. Wu Lali said. After passing through this forest, we'll reach it after passing through a mountain. What are we doing here? Waiting for someone. Wu Lali sat down on a rock. Sima Yue saw that there were many medicinal ingredients around. Some of them weren't in the spirit pagoda. Thinking that she had nothing to do, she took out her tools and started digging. You really don't waste anything at all, Wu Lali ridiculed. It's not that, but at least it won't be wasted. Sima Yue dug up a medicinal ingredient and threw it into the spirit pagoda without even shaking the soil. These medicinal ingredients can be seen everywhere. There's nothing rare about them. In the eyes of alchemists, even the most ordinary medicinal ingredients are treasures. Sima Yue continued digging for medicinal ingredients to pass the time. Stepping on the medicinal ingredients, she dug out an empty space and found that there were a few ores buried in the soil. What's wrong? Wu Lali asked when he saw her stop. Child Wula, have you been here before? Sima Yue asked. No, what's wrong? It's nothing. Sima Yue looked at the ores buried in the soil. From the state of the soil, these ores have been here for some time. She wondered who had left them here. Wu Lali walked over and was surprised to see the ores. There are actually ores here? How rare. Didn't you say there was a mountain range over there? Maybe there's a mine there. Sima Yue said. I won't. The Seeker Spirit Master has already searched the mountain range, but there is no mine. Wu Lali said. Perhaps someone left these here a long time ago. Perhaps. Sima Yue did not express her opinion. She carefully dug out a piece of ore and cleaned the soil on it. A grayish-white stone appeared in front of the two of them. When she saw the patterns on the ore, she was shocked. Looking at your eyes, there's something good in this, or Wu Lali said confidently. Although he was not human, he was very familiar with humans. He had been walking around the continent for many years and had seen many ores. I can't be sure if it is good, but there is definitely something inside. Sima Yue did not speak too confidently. You are also a Seeker Spirit Master? Wu Lali raised his eyebrows. Sort of. Sima Yue said. There's a total of 11 pieces here. Because I found it, I'll give you 5 and I will take 6. You can choose first, but you can't go back on your choice. You want me to cheat? Wu Lali said. Up to you. Sima Yue shrugged her shoulders. In front of a strong person, it was better to make things clear. Wu Lali smiled. These are all for you. I'm not interested in these things. Sima Yue did not expect him to reject her so directly. Don't you spirit beasts absorb the spiritual energy in rare spirit stones to increase your strength? Very little, Wu Lali said. The spirit beasts have their own methods of cultivation. Very few people change their cultivation methods. But you humans, if you find a rare spirit stone, you can greatly increase your strength. You really don't want it? She raised her head to look at him. Seeing that his eyes were still clear, she smiled and said, You are the one who doesn't want it. Don't regret it later. If you ask me for it again, I will not give it to you. Up to you. Sima Yue was sure that he did not want it. She happily went to dig the ores. According to what she had learned, these 11 ores were definitely rare. If she could find 1 or 2 of them, she might be able to level up. Very quickly, she dug out the remaining 10 ores. When she finished cleaning the last ore, she walked to Wu Li's side in satisfaction and asked, Who are we waiting for? How much longer? If it is too long, I will go to a place further away to dig for herbs. Other than this area, the other places are very dangerous. If you're not afraid, you can go. Wu Lali opened his eyes and said, Then forget it. Sima Yue shrunk her neck. She was so weak now. She did not want to joke around with her own life. Thinking about her own strength, she could not help but sigh. In this year of learning and cultivation, not only did she level up to the Divine King stage, she even touched the threshold of Divine Overlord. If she had enough spiritual energy, leveling up would not be a problem. Little Roar was right. Because she had leveled up before, she did not have any obstacles in leveling up. As long as she had enough spiritual energy, it would be fine. They waited in the forest for 2 days before 2 men came to find them. Seeing them shake their heads, Wu La Li's gaze dimmed. Looking at Sima Yue, he said, "Prepare to return to the Dragon Palace." The two-word Dragon Palace made Sima Yue's body tremble. Ever since her past life, she had a special yearning for dragons. She liked the dragon's totem and loved the legends of dragons. Later on, she became Shiman Yu and had always been deeply curious about the Dragon Clan. It was just that she had died before she could reach the Ninth Star Ocean. Now that she heard that they were going to return to the Dragon Palace, she was extremely curious. She did not know what was the difference between this Dragon Palace and the one she saw on television. Wu Lali took out a pearl the size of a longan and handed it to her. "This is a water avoidance pearl. Eat it. You will be able to breathe freely in the water." The two bodyguards were stunned when they saw Wu Lali take out the water avoidance pearl. One of them wanted to say something, but was stopped by the other. Sima Yue was thinking about what to do when she went underwater. She did not expect Wu Lali to have already thought of it for her. She took the water avoidance pearl and ate it without hesitation. Varmediav _ad_ pub equals within 17.103 9061. Varmediav _ad_ if equals 950. Varmediav _ad_ height equals 90. Chapter 608. Wu Lali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward. She did not seem to have her guard up against him. He was secretly delighted. "Well?" he asked. Sima Yue felt it carefully. Other than feeling a little choked when she ate it just now, she did not feel anything else. "There's nothing unusual," she answered honestly. "Hee, you'll feel it when you're underwater." Wu La laughed. "Let's go. We'll go down now. Can't we use the space tunnel?" Sima Yue followed him. The underwater pressure is different, so the spatial channel's positioning is not accurate. "Oh." The two of them gradually walked away, but the two guards were still in the same place. His Highness actually gave the water avoidance pearl to that human. "Didn't you see it?" "But that's the water avoidance pearl. Why would His Highness let her eat such a precious water-repelling pearl? Shouldn't you just give her a red water-repelling pearl?" The water prevention pearl that Sima Yue ate was emerald blue. After eating it, it would stay in her body, and she would be able to breathe freely in water. The red water prevention pearl was temporary and could only stay in her body for a month. After a month, it would lose its effect. Red water avoidance pearls were not rare, but blue water avoidance pearls were very rare. There were only a few of them in the entire seabed. His Highness seems to treat her differently. What do you mean by somewhat special? It's very special. Look, His Highness is smiling at her. When did His Highness ever smile at us? Could it be that Your Highness likes her? It can't be. He's a man, even though he's a little feminine. So what if he's a man? There are plenty of men who like other men. But I've never seen Her Highness like a man before. The past is the past, and the present is the present. Just because His Highness didn't like it before doesn't mean he doesn't like it now. Perhaps it just so happened to prove the human saying, she doesn't like you because she likes men, but because she likes you, and you are a man. Oh, what romantic words. If you go into heat again, His Highness will definitely reward you with an intact corpse. After saying that, the guard left first. The remaining guard shouted and chased after him. They passed through the woods and over the mountains and saw the vast sea. Ah, the sea, it's all water. Spiders, it's all eggs. She faced the sea and opened her arms wide. Wu Lali looked puzzled. Cough, cough, this is something I heard before. Sima Yu said awkwardly. Are we going down now? Wu Lali suddenly grabbed her waist and flew into the sky. Then, he plunged into the water. Before Sima Yu entered the water, she subconsciously closed her eyes and mouth. The moment she entered the water, she felt that her body was completely surrounded. A huge force pressed down on her, but it stopped around her body. She opened her eyes and found that there was a layer of membrane around her body. This time, The membrane isolated her from the water and ensured that she could breathe smoothly without being squeezed by the strong pressure. Is this the effect of the water avoidance pearl? She asked happily. Yes, Woolali said. We can breathe freely underwater, but you humans can't. With this, you'll be able to breathe underwater just like on land. This thing must be very precious, yet he gave it to her. Let's go. We might run into some trouble on the way. In order to speed up, I'll have to trouble you. Woolali said. Without waiting for her to react, he turned into a purple dragon. This dragon was not as majestic as the one in the totem in her previous life, but it still made Yuyue's eyes light up. She originally thought that he would let her ride him back, but reality proved that she thought too much. Woolali's huge claws grabbed her, and then he swam forward at lightning speed. Oh my god, this is faster than a cruise ship. She put her hands on Woolali's claws and looked at the underwater world excitedly. Woolali looked down and saw her excited little face. He swung his tail and increased his speed to the maximum. They traveled for a few days. They passed by a few clans. Those clans felt Woolali's aura and avoided him. We're almost there, Woolali said. We're lucky this time. We didn't meet any enemies. You have enemies? Sima Yue asked. There's always someone you don't like in this world. Some old grudges are passed down from our ancestors. Woolali said. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. Who didn't have enemies in this world? After traveling for half a day, they finally reached the Violet Water Clan's territory. Sima Yue saw that wherever Woolali swam, the water dragons under the water raised their heads and bowed to him. Woolali brought Sima Yue to an underwater palace before stopping. He released his claws and let Sima Yue go before transforming into his human form. Your Highness, you're back. The guard bowed to Woolali. Where's father? Woolali asked. The king is with the queen. The guard said. Woolali stopped in his tracks and turned to walk in another direction. Come with me. I'll bring you over to take a look. Your Highness. An old man walked out of the palace. He didn't have a beard, but he had 2 strands of beard. Prime Minister. The crown prince was very respectful to this old man. His tone was different from his. Your Highness, are you going to see the queen? The Prime Minister asked. Yes, I found a doctor. I'll bring her to father and mother. Woolali said. The king said last time that humans are not allowed to step into the palace. If you bring her over, I'm afraid you'll anger the king. The Prime Minister said. I'll convince father. Does the Prime Minister want to come with us? Woolali didn't care about the question. I'll go with you. If the king gets angry, I can help you. The Prime Minister said worriedly. Puffed. Sima Yue looked at him and laughed. She then looked at Woolali and said, You didn't tell me that your father hates humans so much. We've brought a few human alchemists and doctors before, but they didn't cure her. Instead, they made her condition worse. The last time she almost died, so my father forbade us from bringing humans. Woolali said, What, are you scared? There's no use being scared. The arrow is already knocked on the bow. And I believe that since you called me here, you won't let me die here. Sima Yue said, You're still so confident. Woolali said with a smile. It wasn't that he hadn't seen confident people before, but it was rare to see someone so confident that he didn't hate them. That you go in first. I'll wait for you outside. Sima Yue said. Why? Go in first and give your father a warning. Otherwise, I'm afraid that he'll kill me the moment he sees me. When that happens, you won't be able to stop him. Sima Yue said. Those old monsters were terrifyingly powerful. For her own life, it was better for her to wait outside. Chapter 609. Woolali did not expect Sima Yue to be so straightforward with a request. He thought for a moment and nodded. Okay, you wait outside. Prime Minister, come with me. By the way, who's the injured one? She asked. She is my Empress mother. Woolali said. My father and mother have a very good relationship. That's why he did everything he could to save my mother's life after she was injured. But that's all. For so many years, my mother has been lying on the crystal bed, unable to speak or open her eyes. She's like a living dead. Toward the end, Wu La Li's voice became gloomy. He was in a bad mood. In order to save Mother, our clan spent a lot of energy, and we didn't even care about the outside world. Our clansmen are eager to make a move against us, but Father is not in the mood to care. Wu La Li continued, and I spent most of my time on the continent looking for a way to cure my mother, so I rarely took care of the clan's affairs. Fortunately, my second brother has propped up the Violet Water clan, allowing us to search for those things outside. You must all love your mother very much. Sima Yue said, then who told you about the Nirvana pill? There was once an alchemist who came here to see my mother. He said that he had no other way. Unless he could find the Nirvana pill, my mother would not wake up. Even if someone could save her, she will become a cripple. Wu Lali said, at first, we didn't pay much attention to it, but later on, all the people we invited were helpless. My imperial father remembered the pill recipe left behind by that person and sent people to search for those medicinal ingredients. That person should also have some skills, because ordinary people didn't know about the existence of the Nirvana Dan. Not only did that person know about it, he also took out the pill recipe. Presumably, he was also a grandmaster of the continent. Do you still remember that alchemist's name and identity? Sima Yu asked. I remember. It's the Demon Valley Lord of the Divine Devil Valley. When I went to the mainland, I heard his name and went to the Divine Devil Valley to look for him. At that time, in order to enter the Divine Devil Valley, I almost destroyed their mountain gate. Later on, he had to compensate a lot of things before the matter was settled. It wasn't a big deal at first, but that old man devil said a lot. In the end, he insisted on paying for it before coming with me. Wu Lali said. Seeing that Sima Yoyue's expression was getting weirder, he asked, what's wrong? That old man devil is actually my master. Sima Yue said. He's your master? Are you from the Divine Devil Valley? Then why are you at the Sky Heaven School? Wu Lali asked curiously. I'm from the Divine Devil Valley, but I'm a disciple that my master took in outside. I haven't been to the Divine Devil Valley yet. Sima Yue said. That Demon Valley Lord is considered the most powerful person among the people he found. However, he only managed to alleviate my mother's pain and did not manage to wake her up. Furthermore, his efforts were ruined by the last human alchemist. Wu Lali's evaluation of Old Man Devil was quite high. I hope to see the student surpass the master. My master's specialty isn't healing people, but alchemy. Sima Yue said, if you give him ingredients to refine pills, he definitely won't have a problem. However, when it comes to medicine, he might not be able to do it. As for me, my medical skills are more profound. Even if I cure your imperial mother, it won't be a case of the student surpassing the master. Wu Lali stared at her indifferent face and said, your master took in a good disciple. Thank you, your highness, for your praise. Sima Yue smiled. While they were talking, they arrived at another palace. There were fewer people here, but Sima Yue could feel the pressure coming from many places. It's here, Wu Lali said. I'll go in and tell my father. Prime Minister, you stay here and accompany him. Your Highness, let me go in with you. The Prime Minister was worried. What if the king got angry and hurt him? The king's temper had been getting worse over the years. No one dared to imagine what would happen if the queen really went. You stay here and accompany Yue. Wu Lali said, I'll talk to my father. Nothing will happen. However, Yue is a human. I'm worried about you. All right, the Prime Minister said. Your Highness, the king has been getting more and more agitated in the years you weren't here. It's best if you don't provoke him. I understand. Wu Lali turned and went in. Sima Yue and the Prime Minister waited outside. Seeing the strange stones, she felt like she was in a dream and wanted to go over and touch them. It's best if you don't go over, the Prime Minister said. Why? There are traps everywhere. If not, there are strong guards. If you wander around and get killed by them, it won't be worth it, the Prime Minister explained. Sima Yu followed his gaze and saw a little snake that was about the same size as little golden on a rock. Looking at the color, it should be a purple water dragon in disguise. Prime Minister, do all your clansmen hate humans? Yes, because not only did they not cure the queen, they even made her condition worse. The prime minister's expression was full of hatred. It seemed like he didn't have a good impression of humans. He didn't kill her immediately because she was someone Wu La Li had brought back. At this moment, inside the palace, Wu La Li and his father Wu La Mai were staring at each other coldly. I said before that humans are not allowed to take a single step into this place. Are you ignoring my words? Wu La Mai's face was full of anger. His hand trembled as he pointed at Wu La Li. Father, you can't just kill everyone. Wu La Li said, there are good people and bad people among humans. There are capable people and quacks. That human made Mother's condition worse, but that doesn't mean that all humans are the same. Imperial Father, look at Imperial Mother. She has been lying here for decades, and her situation is only getting worse. We don't know how long she can last, even with the crystal bed. Then there's no need for a human to treat her. Wu La Li scolded. You randomly found a human. What if your mother's condition worsened? But Imperial Father, do you want Imperial Mother to lie here for the rest of her life? She can't speak. She can't laugh. What's the difference between being alive and being dead? Mother is such a warm person. She likes to play, laugh, and talk with everyone. Now that she's like this, she might think that she's suffering and would rather die. Bastard. Wu La Mai slapped Wu La, sending him flying. He hit the palace wall and fell to the ground. Angry? Wu La Li crawled up from the ground and said, Father, you're really selfish. You know that Mother isn't happy, but you still want her to stay. You want to save her. We all want to save her. But now that you have a chance, you won't let her try because of your own likes and dislikes. Father, do you really love Mother? Chapter 610. How can I not love her? The person I love the most in my life is your mother. You know how much effort I put into making her come back to life. Now you're saying this. Are you trying to anger me to death? Wu La Li glared at Wu La Li. You're wrong, Father. True love is not selfishness like you. You don't ask for Mother's opinion. Wu La Li met his gaze. Father, you should think about it. Would Mother rather lie here for the rest of her life, or let a human come in and try? After he finished speaking, the two of them fell silent. Mother! Wu La Li suddenly ran to the crystal bed and said excitedly, Father, Mother is still conscious. She's crying. Wu La Mai turned around and looked at the tears that were different from the seawater. He closed his eyes and struggled for a while before saying, Go and bring that person here to try. Wu La Li's eyes flashed with joy as he hurried out. Yue, I've already said it. Go in and take a look at my mother. You're not injured, are you? Sima Yue asked. HM, we heard it just now. There were banging sounds coming from inside. Sima Yue said, I'm fine. Go take a look at my mother. She seemed to be quite emotional just now. She even cried. This is the first time she's been emotional in the past few decades. Wu La Li pulled her inside. The first thing Sima Yue saw when she entered was a domineering man dressed in purple. Needless to say, he was the king of the Violet Water clan. In front of him, a beautiful woman was lying quietly on a crystal bed. Her hands were crossed over her abdomen. She looked like she was sleeping peacefully. Father, I've brought the person, Wu La Li said. Wu La Mai turned around and saw Sima Yue. He didn't expect her to be so young. He thought that Wu La Li had found a virtuous and respectable master. Come take a look. He moved to the side and let Sima Yue examine the woman. Sima Yue walked over and sighed in her heart. It was a good thing she was in human form. Otherwise, she would go crazy trying to take a spirit beast's pulse. His meridians have been completely severed. His spiritual energy has dissipated. His spiritual pool has been destroyed, and all his internal organs have been shattered. No wonder Master said that without the Nirvana pill, there is no hope. After she finished examining the woman's condition, she thought to herself, How is it? Can my mother still be saved? Wu La Li asked anxiously. Her condition is even worse than what you said. Aside from the problems with her meridians and internal organs, even her divine sense has been injured. Moreover, because she has been injured for so long, those injuries have become chronic. I have to treat it before I can give you a reply. Sima Yu continued. If the situation is good, it's not like there's no hope. But if she doesn't respond to my experimental treatment, then I can only continue to look for Nirvana pills. Are you saying that you might be able to cure my mother? Your Highness, as I said, it depends on her physical condition. Sima Yu said. How long will that experimental treatment take? Wu Lamai asked. 10 days, Sima Yu answered. Then I'll give you 10 days. Send a servant girl over. I need her to do something. Sima Yu said. Also, I need to take off her clothes. No. She was interrupted by Wu Lamai before she could finish. I need to perform acupuncture. Sima Yu said. How can the Violet Water Clan's queen be seen by another man? Definitely not. Wu Lamai refused. Father, she is a woman. Wu Lali hurriedly pulled Wu Lamai back and said. Wu Lamai was puzzled. Sima Yu was shocked. How do you know? The feeling when you grabbed my hand before, it wasn't a man's hand. Wu Lali explained. And there was such a way to differentiate. It seemed that she shouldn't casually grab other people's hands in the future. You're really a woman? Wu Lamai couldn't believe it. If she was a woman, how could he not tell? Sima Yu turned the button on the ring, and she instantly returned to her female appearance. Although she still had the same hairstyle and clothes, it was easy to tell, especially the small mounds in front of her chest. Is the king willing to do it now? She said. Fortunately, she's still in her human form, so I can perform acupuncture. Otherwise, it would be more troublesome to save her. Of course, if you're not willing, I can only use a more conservative method. Since you're a woman, then perform the acupuncture. Wu Lamai said, but I want to be there the entire time. Sima Yoyue's mouth twitched. This was his territory, and she was his wife. She should just listen to him obediently, especially since this big boss had a deep prejudice against humans. In the end, she took a screen and symbolically blocked the bed. Anyway, this little thing was useless to Wu Lamai. She asked the servant girl to take off the queen's clothes and gave her 2 pills. Then, she began the acupuncture. Then, she would perform the acupuncture once every other day. This went on for 5 times. Wu Lamai didn't leave the room these days. When Sima Yu performed the acupuncture, he watched from the side. He saw the queen's complexion slowly improve. As the son, Wu Lali didn't receive such good treatment. He was only allowed to enter when the 10 days were up. He was accompanied by another man who looked very similar to him. Yue, how's my mother's condition? Wu Lali asked as soon as he entered. Her condition is not bad. At least, it's better than the worst-case scenario. Sima Yue replied. That means that mother can be saved? I will do my best to wake her up. Sima Yue said, but I need some herbs and a place to refine pills. Otherwise, I can only go to the mainland to refine pills. A place to refine pills? Can't you do it here? It's not that you can't, but at least you need a space without water. Otherwise, this pill can't be refined. Sima Yue explained, I will continue to perform acupuncture for the queen during this period of time. Quickly send me the herbs that I lack. Tell us what herbs you need first. We'll go look for them. Wu Lali said. Paper couldn't be used in water. She took out a soundstone and listed the herbs she needed. Then, she passed the soundstone to Wu Lali. Take this to the Divine Devil Valley and look for my master. Oh, he's probably not around. Then find someone else to try. If the Divine Devil Valley doesn't have these herbs, you can go elsewhere to look for them. Okay. Wu Lali kept the soundstone. All right, you better gather all these herbs within 3 months. Sima Yue said, the latest is 4 months. Otherwise, all these months of hard work will go to waste. Bring more people with you. Bring more things from the storeroom as well, just in case we need them. Wu Lamai instructed. No matter what, you must gather all the medicinal ingredients and bring them back within 3 months. Chapter 611. On this day, the Valley Lord was studying a formation when a disciple came to report that Wu Lali had come again, but was blocked outside by their new formation. Thinking of the destruction Wu Lali had caused to them last time, the gatekeeper immediately came to report to the Valley Lord. Wu Lali is here. Could it be that they were looking for second brother again? Go and tell him that the second is not in the valley, said the Valley Lord. We've already told him. He said that he's not here to look for the Demon Valley Lord. The disciple replied, You're not looking for second brother? Did he say who he was looking for? He said he was looking for you, Valley Lord. Looking for me? The God Valley Lord put down his book. I don't know why he's looking for me. Bring him to the guest hall in the outer valley. I'll be right there. Yes, Valley Lord. After the disciples left, the Valley Lord kept the items and slowly walked towards the outer valley. Wu Lali was led through the array outside the valley to the guest hall. He was then served tea and told to wait. After a while, the Valley Lord walked in. What brings your highness to my divine Devil Valley today? Wu Lali stood up and said, Li came this time to ask for a favor. I wonder if there's anything your highness needs our help with? The divine Devil Valley saw that Wu Lali was still considered polite, so their prejudice towards him lessened. Wu Lali took out a sound stone and gave it to the Valley Lord. The Valley Lord will know when he hears this. The God Valley Lord took the sound stone and inserted his spiritual energy into it. Sima Yoyue's voice could be heard from it. Master, I'm currently with the Violet Water Clan, treating their queen's injuries. I need some herbs now. Can you help me see if there are any in the valley? Purple sand, red heart grass. I can only maintain them for 3 to 4 months at most, so I have to prepare them during this time. Master, you have to help me prepare it, and then let His Highness bring it back. I'm sure His Highness will pay you well. Master, you have to hurry up. Sima Yoyue's voice stopped here. When the Valley Lord heard her list of medicinal herbs, he was thinking about what he should get back. The Violet Water Clan had many treasures. Valley Lord, Yue said that her master might not be in the valley, so she asked me to find you. Wu Lali said, We asked the Valley Lord to help us gather these ingredients. Just as Yue said, we will give you sufficient compensation. The God Valley Lord tapped his index finger on the table and thought for a while, then said, Rewards and whatnot can be discussed later. We will definitely find a way to gather those herbs. Your Highness, please wait here for a while. Thank you, Valley Lord, Wu Lali said gratefully. The Valley Lord called a man in. Valley Lord. The Valley Lord passed the sound stone to him, saying, This is what the Junior Valley Master needs. Gather the herbs according to her request. See what we have in the valley first. If you don't have enough, go outside. You have to gather all the herbs inside. Yes, Valley Lord. The man took the sound stone and left. Isn't U.S. studying in the outer regions? Why are you in the 9-star ocean? The Valley Lord asked. It's like this. Wu Lali told him about how he met Sima Yue in the outer regions and their deal. I see. I also heard that her medical skills are not bad. Even Gulang is full of praises for her. The Valley Lord said, I hope she can cure your mother. I believe she can. Wu Lali smiled. In the past, those people who came to treat my mother were all useless. She only treated her for 10 days, and my mother's condition improved greatly. So I believe she can definitely cure my mother. We will try our best to prepare the herbs as soon as possible so she can cure your mother. I will get someone to bring you to rest now. Sorry to trouble you, Valley Lord. All right. You know that there are many arrays in our valley. If you want to walk around the valley, it's best to find someone to bring you around. Otherwise, it will be troublesome if something happens. The Valley Lord said. Wu Lali remembered the last time he barged into their array. He was a little embarrassed and nodded awkwardly, saying, I'll remember. The Valley Lord called for someone. A disciple walked in and brought Wu Lali away. Master, Ing Bai Chuan came in from outside. Bai Chuan, you're back. How's the investigation? The Valley Lord asked. I've already found some clues. Cloud Cave is indeed colluding with people from the inner regions. It's just that they are very careful. I haven't found out which power it is yet. Ing Bai Chuan said, I asked them to stay and continue investigating. Thank you for your hard work. This is what a disciple should do. Ing Bai Chuan said, Master, when I came back just now, I saw the people in the valley gathering herbs. Is Martial Ant back? No, it's Yue. The Valley Lord said, she asked people to prepare some herbs. She said she needs them urgently. Yue came to the valley? Ing Bai Chuan missed that little fellow. He didn't know how much she had grown after so many years. She didn't come back. The Violet Water Clan's Great Highness came down with her soundstone. She said she needed some herbs to cure their queen and asked us to help prepare them. The Valley Lord replied. That little fellow ran to the Ninth-Star Ocean without a word. She's really brave. She's in the Ninth-Star Ocean? Ingbai Chuan was a little worried. That place is so dangerous. Why did she go there? She even went to the Violet Water Clan to cure their queen. Even Marshall Ant couldn't cure her. Why did you get involved in this mess? You're curious too, aren't you? The Valley Lord smiled and said, That little fellow is really brave. She dared to make a deal with Wu La Li without knowing anything. However, Gulang said that her medical skills are not bad. She might really be able to cure the Violet Water Clan's queen. The Violet Water Clan is a big clan in the Ninth-Star Ocean. The queen and king are deeply in love and are deeply loved by the clan. If she can be cured and be on good terms with the Violet Water Clan, it will be good for her and the Divine Devil Valley. But what if she can't be cured? Ingbai Chuan was still worried. When Marshall Ant came back, she said that the queen's injuries were too serious. Although she was hanging on by a crystal bed, she was already in a state of suspended animation. Yue is still so young. If this isn't handled well, she might not be able to walk out of the Violet Water Clan. If second brother knows where his obedient disciple died, I'm afraid there will be chaos. The Valley Lord was a little worried. Master, I have an idea. 3 months later, Sima Yue had just finished the acupuncture for the queen and ordered the servant to dress her properly. She saw another servant come in and say that the king had summoned her. She went to the side hall and saw 2 humans in the main hall. She said in surprise, Senior Brothering, why are you here? This is... Chapter 612. Yue, this is my master. When Ingbai Chuan saw that Sima Yue was still in good health, he felt less worried and introduced her to the Valley Lord. Greetings to the Valley Lord. Sima Yue bowed to the Valley Lord. You should call me Senior Uncle. The Valley Lord smiled. Sima Yue had heard from Wu Lingyu that Old Man Devil and the Valley Lord were martial brothers. According to seniority, she should call him Martial Uncle. Yue greets Martial Uncle. She bowed again. This Martial Uncle instantly brought the relationship between the two of them closer. Martial Uncle, Senior Brothering, why are you here? Sima Yue asked. We were worried that you wouldn't know the rules here and would anger them, so we came to supervise you. Ingbai Chuan said. Sima Yue's heart warmed. They had followed Wu La Li here because they were worried about her safety. Yue, we've gathered all the ingredients. When do you need them? Wu La Li asked. The sooner the better. If possible, I'll go now. Sima Yue said. Big brother, you take care of the guest. I will bring her to the pill refining place. Wu La Lu said. All right, Yue, let's go. Wu La Lu said to Sima Yue. Wu La Lu was the second prince of the Violet Water Tribe. He was the person in charge of the Violet Water Tribe. In the past 3 months, his disgust and contempt for Sima Yue had turned into admiration. The two of them had become friends. Sima Yue bowed towards the God Valley Lord and Ingbai Chuan before leaving with Wu La Lu. This is the first time the Valley Lord and Junior Valley Master have come to my Violet Water Clan. I should have brought you around, but I'm worried about my mother right now. I'm afraid I might neglect you too. Wu La Li said. Since your highness is so worried, why don't we go to Yue's place to take a look? All right, when we're done here, I'll bring you around our tribe. Wu La Li said, follow me. Sima Yue followed Wu La Lu to an underwater mountain. There was a cave at the bottom of the mountain. This cave was different from other caves. But this cave was a cave. They followed the cave upstream until they reached the mouth of the cave. We're here. Wu La Lu went up first, and Sima Yu followed him out of the cave. There's no water here. Sima Yu looked at the dry cave. It was hard to imagine that there was such a place in the underwater world. I accidentally discovered this when I was young. I don't know why, but the seawater doesn't spread here. Wu La Lu said. How about I refine pills here for you? I can. Sima Yu said. Although the pressure is a bit high, refining pills shouldn't be a problem. Hua. Yue ba. Was Yue. We want to take a look too. How is this place? Wulali asked. Not bad. Yue is about to start. Wulalu said. We're just waiting for her to start. Sima Yue took out a huge table and placed all the herbs on it. Wulali and his brother were dumbfounded when they saw the small mountain of herbs. Do you humans need so many herbs to make pills? Wulalu asked. Normal pills don't need so many herbs. Yue is going to make a high-grade pill. That's why she needs so many. Ingbai Chuan said. Last time at the Sky Heaven School, the talent she displayed shocked everyone present. It was because of her performance that I believed in her. Wulali recalled the scene at that time and felt very emotional. The Divine Valley Lord was happy. She was a member of the Divine Devil Valley. She would be envied by many powers. Sima Yue didn't care about their gazes. She was cleaning up the herbs and adapting to the high-pressure environment. She didn't want to fail. Furthermore, just in case, she also refined several other medicinal pills first so that she could completely integrate herself into this environment. She then started to refine the small origin pill. The small origin pill was similar to the Nirvana pill. It was just that it wasn't as heaven-defying as the Nirvana pill. But the small origin pill was enough for the Violet Water Queen. She cleaned up the herbs. The Divine Valley Lord was afraid that she would fail. He gathered 3 sets with great difficulty. Adding the one she already had, it was enough. The refining of the herbs went smoothly. But because of a small mistake during the first fusion, the entire herb was wasted. Sima Yue didn't have any emotional fluctuations. She kept the dregs and cleaned the furnace. She ate 2 pills and sat cross-legged to recover her mental strength. She waited for her mental strength to recover before she started the second round. She was more careful this time, but she still failed at the last step. When she heard the sizzling sound from the furnace, she knew that the herbs were wasted again. She stood in front of the last set of herbs. This time, she wasn't in a hurry to start. Instead, she thought about the previous 2 rounds of refining in her mind. Wulali and the rest had been watching her for the past few days. They saw that she had wasted 2 of the 3 sets of herbs. If she still couldn't succeed this time, their hope would be extinguished. Master, US seems to be refining a 7th grade pill, right? Ingbai Chuan asked uncertainly. It should be. The Divine Valley Lord's heart raced the moment she started refining. He was even more nervous than the Wula brothers. If she succeeded, she would be a 7th grade alchemist. Such a young 7th grade alchemist. Many people would be envious of her. Sima Yue closed her eyes and meditated. She seemed to have entered a state of emptiness. Every extraction of the herbs, every fusion step, and the final pill condensation step by step. It was as if there was a small person playing out the steps in her mind. After a long time, she opened her eyes. Her eyes were clear. She came to the table and started refining again. The Divine Valley Lord looked at her unhurried expression and nodded in satisfaction. She could still be so calm under such pressure. This wasn't something an ordinary person could have. It was rare for her to have such a calm temperament at such a young age. Sima Yue refined step by step. She didn't think about anything else. Her eyes and mind were only focused on refining the pill. Extraction, fusion, pill condensation. Every step was steady. The temperature, the intensity of the fire, every detail was controlled. Bang, bang. Just when they thought that the pill condensation was successful, the sound of a collision came from the furnace. Wula Li and Wula Lu's expressions changed. They exclaimed, "Did she fail this time too?" Not only were the 2 brothers disappointed, the Divine Valley Lord and Ingbai Chuan's expressions became strange. Chapter 613. Master. Ingbai Chuan turned to look at the Valley Lord and saw that he had the same expression as him. He knew that he had the same thoughts as him. Not bad, not bad. Now that the second Lord knows, he'll be so happy. The Valley Lord said excitedly. Wula Li and Wula Lu were still immersed in their disappointment. Seeing the two of them so excited, their extinguished hope reappeared. Valley Lord, are you saying that she didn't fail? Wulalu asked. Failed? No, she did not fail. She succeeded, and very successfully, said the Valley Lord. Success? But isn't there a sound coming from the pill furnace? Wulalu was puzzled. Didn't that sound just now mean that he had failed? Why wasn't it the same this time? This is the sound of the pills colliding with each other in the pill furnace after they are formed. This is because the pills were refined too well and formed a pill tribulation. Pill tribulation? Wulali was excited. He had spent a lot of time on the continent and had naturally heard of pill tribulations. Once pill tribulations appeared, the pills would be the best of the same grade. But we are not prepared for the pill tribulation. What if the lightning strikes her? Only she survived, said the Valley Lord. Aren't we going to help? Wulali asked worriedly. It's useless even if we go. This pill tribulation only recognizes pills. Ingbai Chuan said. Sima Yue opened the lid of the pill furnace. The moment she opened the lid, she grabbed the pill that was trying to fly away. Good girl, you can't run away. Otherwise, wouldn't my efforts be in vain? She grabbed the pill, and with a wave of her hand, she stored everything else in the cave into her spirit pagoda. Then she said to Wulali, send me to the surface of the sea immediately. The surface of the sea? Yes, hurry up. If this pill tribulation did not strike the pill, it would accumulate in the air. It might have been a simple pill tribulation, but in the end it could evolve into a huge lightning tribulation. Furthermore, she was now at the bottom of the sea. The tribulation cloud had sensed the existence of the pill and was already brewing on the surface of the sea. If it couldn't find a target, it would wait until it was full before striking the bottom of the sea. Coupled with the conductivity of water, the spirit beasts at the bottom of the sea would suffer. Wulali saw her anxious expression and did not hesitate. He took her out of the cave and swam towards the surface of the sea. By the time they reached the surface of the sea, a thick layer of dark clouds had gathered in the sky. There's a small island over there. Let's go there. Sima Yue looked at the small island, not far away. She was really lucky. She went ashore alone and took out the pill. The tribulation cloud sensed the location of the pill and quickly floated over. Pah! A bolt of lightning struck her body, shattering the defensive layer that she had congealed around her body. Sima Yue laid on the ground. She had already kept the pills into her spatial ring and was now the target of the pill tribulation. What a familiar pain. She grimaced. When she had advanced to the God Realm, she had been struck by lightning for the first time. When Little Pong had advanced to the God Realm, she had also advanced to the God Realm and had been struck by lightning. When she had advanced to the God King Realm, she had been in the Academy. In order to avoid everyone, she had run deep into the mountains to advance and had been struck by lightning. She did not expect that a simple pill tribulation would become such a huge lightning tribulation. She tried her best to flip herself over and lay on the ground. She shouted at the tribulation cloud in the sky. Hey, brother, we've already fought so many times. Although I'm very grateful that you're able to replenish my lightning attribute, can you be magnanimous this time? She did not expect that she would attract such a huge pill tribulation at this time. Hence, she had not made any preparations to go through the tribulation. When the lightning struck her body, it really hurt. The defensive layer that she had just congealed had been destroyed, and she did not have the strength to set up another array. She could only take out the clothes and weapons that Fatty Chu had given her to protect her from the lightning and casually cover herself. After going through so many lightning tribulations, she had some understanding of the tribulation cloud. Looking at the extent of the lightning, it was not too big. At most, it would strike her half dead. As long as she did not die, her body would recover. The tribulation cloud seemed to have really heard her words. The second bolt of lightning did not strike, giving her some time to recover. Furthermore, the cloud seemed to be slowly thinning. Sima Yue blinked her eyes and looked at the tribulation cloud in disbelief. This fella couldn't have really understood her words, right? However, seeing that the lightning did not intend to strike, she took advantage of the gap and hurriedly took 2 pills and ate them. Pa! The second bolt of lightning struck, scorching her entire body. Then, the tribulation cloud trembled and floated away like a victorious general. After the tribulation cloud dispersed, Wu La Li flew to the island. Seeing her completely unrecognizable, he thought of what she had said to the tribulation cloud and tried his best to control himself from laughing out loud. Sima Yoyue's body was burning with pain. Luckily, the pill she had eaten earlier had cooled her internal organs. She saw the smile in Wu La Li's eyes, but she could not do anything. She could only helplessly roll her eyes. "Can you move now?" Wu La Li asked. "I can blink once, but not twice." Sima Yue quickly blinked twice. "Then I'll bring you back." "Blink twice." "I can't move you." "Blinked once." "All right then, you could just lie here," Wu La Li said. Sima Yue saw that he did not intend to move her and sighed in relief. She began to guide the lightning she had absorbed back to her dantian. Wu La Li stayed by her side the whole time. After she had absorbed all the lightning, her body could move again. The scars on her body had also disappeared after the black shell had faded away. She looked at her skin that could be broken with a flick of a finger and could not help but sigh in her heart. This god-devil body was really good. She did not even have to bother to remove the scars. Wu La Li saw that Sima Yue had recovered so quickly and was very surprised. Even if magic beasts had strong recovery abilities, they would not be as fast as her. "Let's go, we're going back," Sima Yue said. Wu La Li transformed into his original form and brought her back to the Violet Water tribe. "You're finally back." Wu La Lu saw the two of them and hurried forward. "Father has already asked for you a few times. If you didn't come back, he would have mobilized the tribe to look for you." Yue was struck by lightning and had to recuperate for 2 days. Wu La Li said, "Where's father?" "He's at mother's place. Let's hurry over." Sima Yue went to the side palace. After staying here for 3 months, she was quite familiar with the place. The moment she entered the palace, she saw the God Valley Lord and Ing Baichuan talking to the Violet Water King. "Yue, you're finally back. I heard that you've already refined the pill." Wu Lamai looked at her eagerly. He did not believe her at first, but in these 3 months, he saw with his own eyes that the queen's condition was getting better and better. Although she had not woken up yet, she had regained some consciousness. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.